have time for a lot of faffing about.
We don't, not when we're up at 5:30.
Yeah. We don't have time for a lot of faffing about. Hey, that was me. Came through on the stream.
We want Chili Willy! We want Chili Willy!
That's the crowd. They're excited. We need to fill this dead air right here.
I know. It's just like,
Yeah.
God's sake.
There's
Even when his ear is not here. What's going on?
somebody's butt was. We can talk without him. We don't need him. We can talk about his stupid chair. Look at how stupid that chair is.
Yeah, it is.
Ugh.
Just
got
because
a
he has
T
to have
on it.
some fancy state-of-the-art chair because he's some sort of diva.
Thinks that he's better than us.
Oh, he's had a haircut as well. I hadn't noticed
Your
that.
chair's a little fancy too there, Stu. It's got a high
Yeah,
back.
it has. And
Recording in
it's leather.
progress.
Fully leather, this, you know.
Well, and you don't get to give Chinny a bollocking about his
Oh.
chair. I can make fun of both of y'all.
Yeah, you can. Because you've got, what are
Yeah.
you sat on? A stool?
Yeah, it's like a wooden jagged thing. I got splinters all over my ass.
Is that true? Are you sat on a stool?
No, I'm sat on a normal desk chair, not a high-backed fancy chair.
Oh, I see.
Here, I'll hold it up.
Hold it
Look.
up. Let's have a look what you're on. Oh, I see. Oh, no, it's pretty fancy. It's pretty fancy.
It's good. It's not fancy. It's just good.
I don't
It's
know. It's
kinda
fancy-ish.
standard. What's fancy
Fancy-ish.
about it?
It's, you know, it's got, I don't know, mesh back, I guess.
A mesh back is fancy, really?
It looks fancy-ish.
Leather is fancy. This is
I'll be
fancy.
honest. I thought you were going to hold up one of those, like, that's just got a cloth cover on, you know, like you get in actual offices, those really crappy chairs.
Well, I don't have a really crappy chair. Sorry.
That's what I thought you was going to hold up. Just saying.
Right. Okay. Are we ready to talk about video games?
Yeah,
Are we ready
let's
to start
do
this
this.
thing?
Go.
bored of
Do
this.
it. Do it. Do it.
Well, I'm sorry, Chinny. We had to say something while you were gone, so we took
Yeah.
the piss out of your chair.
Yeah, we did.
Let's start the motherfucking show,
Here we go, people. Come on.
Warning, warning, warning.
Welcome yo to the veteran gamers. Juju, Jimmy, other fellas will tell you about every single game that you play this week.
thank
News,
God you
reviews,
answered.
and an indie pick. Stu story time and Chinny's game breakers. Here comes Duke with the soundbite savior.
Stop playing this inane
It's the
garbage. It's
veteran
embarrassing.
gamers. It's the veteran gamers.
Gameplay magazine called it punishingly intricate.
It's the veteran gamers.
Just moronic commentary and stupid sound effects, and it's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
Why do you always do this?
Why do you always not shut up?
Repeat, yo.
In a recent survey, 9 out of 10 zombies preferred the Veteran Gamers podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 770 of the Veteran Gamers podcast.
Yeah, 770. The O stands for, oh my God, we're awesome. I'm Duke.
I'm Stu.
And it's Rosa's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Rosa.
Happy birthday,
Yay.
Rosa.
Rosa's the
Happy
best. Happy
birthday,
1 year
Rosa.
birthday.
Happy
That's so exciting.
birthday.
What did you do to celebrate her birthday?
Yeah, what did you do?
Well, normal people would have one party.
That's true.
Yes.
But
Did you have
Rosa-
Not
7?
divas. Not
Bro.
divas like you.
Rosa's had 2 parties.
Oh.
That's because she's following in
Baby
her
diva.
father's. Yeah, baby diva.
Yeah, she had a party yesterday with all her baby mates,
All right.
and that was 16 babies.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
And yet you're not sick today. You've been
No.
sick the
No,
last couple
I
of
am-
weeks. You just
I am.
hung out with 16 babies and you're not sick.
And today we had a big.
It'll be sick
well,
tomorrow.
It was supposed to be a
Yeah.
small family gathering, but it was turned out to be the house was just full.
A
And
Of course
kegger.
it was. Small
Um,
family gathering.
So, before this show was starting, I was like, I'm nodding off here, and I very rarely nod off. So I'm tired.
Wow.
But I'm not ill. Amazingly.
No, that's
Yay,
good.
not
Yay, yay for not
That's
being
awesome.
ill.
Yeah.
Do you know,
Yeah.
you're lucky. Can I just say you're lucky I'm not ill?
Oh, am I?
Because
I think I'd
we-
be lucky if you were ill.
we've
you
we've
wouldn't
had
be here.
exactly. We've had a full-on COVID outbreak at work. So we've had
Oh no.
10 residents and about 5 staff ill with COVID. So yeah, it's been
for those who
full
don't
on
know,
this week.
Stu works in a OAP lodging
do.
facility. Is that
That
right?
is
Yeah,
that is
so,
correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
so it's not. I shouldn't play the sad horn. It's kind of a serious thing if people get
He
COVID.
works
when
in an
they're older, 'cause-
OAP sex orgy dungeon.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah. I
tell
didn't
me
know that
about it.
about the sex orgy dungeon part.
Oh
They need a
yeah.
lot of chefs, but apparently they do.
So yeah, so apart from having to cope with going to work with loads of people with COVID around me and trying to avoid catching
Yeah.
it, I've also had my jab this week, by the way. I've had my COVID jab.
Okay, that's why you're not sick.
Yeah, I got questioned yet again as to why I needed one, which happened last
Really?
year also. Yeah, because they only give
weird.
it to over 65s in this country unless you've got a
That's
medical
crazy.
condition. So
That's nuts.
Unless you
That's
got a medical
good
condition, I
public
think you should have
health
it.
thing to just keep it
well,
from spreading.
wouldn't you
around.
think? Wouldn't you think? But they don't.
I would.
But
on.
last year was worse because the nurse literally went, "You're not over 65." That
You
was
said,
the
yes,
first.
I am. Oh, don't let the hair dye fool you. Oh shit, Stu's mic went bad.
You've got off, Stu.
It looks like you muted yourself on Zoom. This isn't a hardware now.
Yeah, you've muted yourself on Zoom.
You're on Zoom. Unmute on Zoom.
It says mute.
Zoom.
Jesus.
Zoom.
2024. Which
ZOOM. There you go. Now you're unmuted on Zoom. Talk.
No, we can't.
Nope, still can't hear you. Now your hardware's. Oh, God. Well, we're in the middle of our health segment in case anybody doesn't realize it.
Health. It's time to talk about health.
While Stu figures out I'm sad about my mic. Sad about my mic.
Right, I'm
Okay.
try this one because
Oh, you're back there.
yeah, I know, but now I'm on this,
Yeah,
Because
it's your headset
this
mic, which
is
is a
saying
little
this
weak,
isn't
but
working.
whatever. It's all good.
so yeah, it's a bit crap.
I'm sorry. That's very frustrating when the technology goes wrong.
It's so annoying. It's just so
Yes.
annoying. I'm just like, and now weirdly, I can hear myself in my headphones, even though they're not their like sound source. It's just odd.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Now you know what we have to listen to.
yeah, true, totally true.
All right, I'm going to edit some of this out because I don't know that this dead air is really working for the show.
I think it's gone off again.
Oh, yeah. Stu, are you talking?
I'll
Oh.
just. Oh, there we go. I unplugged them.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I'm back without having to hear myself, which is a lot better. Anyway,
Okay.
after all that nightmare,
Yeah.
So last year it was way worse
Yes.
because the nurse last year was properly like, as soon as I walked in, her first sentence was, "Well, you're not over 65." That was literally like, "What are you doing here?" Right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, no." So I was like, I was honest. No, I'm
But I'm
not.
sick.
Yeah, right. So she went, "Well, why are you here?" I was proper stroppy with me, right? And I went, "Well, because my doctor told me to come for one, right? Because I'm not
Because I
going to
don't
say
want to
anything.
get sick.
I'm not
There's
gonna say
a
anything
horrible
straight away.
virus going around
I'm
the
gonna
world.
see how far this will go." Right? And she went,
Yeah.
"Oh," and she was like, literally, "Oh, right." And I said,
Okay,
so
roll up
at
your
this
sleeve
point,
then.
I went, "Might because I've got heart failure," like just like that,
Uh-huh,
right? And she went, "Oh, all right, right, yeah, no problems, yeah, no, we'll sort that out."
Well, all right then.
So I got
Don't
that
ask
last year.
questions, stupid lady.
This year, she did say, why are you having one? So she wasn't like stroppy though, not like last
Yeah.
year. She was a bitch, but this year she was nice and she was just like, "Oh, so why are you having one then?" And I was like, "Oh, it's because I've got heart failure." And she's like, "Right, no problems. I'll just make a note." And that was
See,
it.
that's just start the conversation. Walk in and go, heart failure. Give me the jab.
Yeah, give me the jab. So I jabbed in this
Yeah.
one for COVID and jabbed in this side for flu. So I've had
See,
both
I'm not
jabs.
getting. I had the option to get them both in one day. I was like, hell no, I need some time to recover. Because
Yeah.
people I know, they're my arm, my other arm. I'm like, no.
But
I'll
then
do
I
a flu
woke up in
shot
the middle
later.
of the night and I'm like, "God, why is my shoulder hurting?" And then I realized,
Well, that's why.
so that's why.
Put
But
poison in your body. It's gonna hurt your
Kay
arm.
has this weird theory, right? That if you
Ooh.
have a jab and then swing your arm around like a madman looking like a windmill,
No,
okay,
it's not gonna cure
that,
it or keep it
that
from hurting.
works, stops it from
No.
hurting, apparently.
No, it doesn't. It's
That's what they're
psychosomatic.
saying.
It's
That's what the
nonsense.
people are saying.
The people, yes, the well-known the people.
Mainly my wife. My wife.
My wife.
But can I just say, I'm going to put that back up because I don't need it. But
My
apart
wife.
from that, can I just say I've had just the worst week ever. It's been tumultuous. Is that a
Now we
word?
got a
Is
story
that-
time coming,
My
people.
Is that
favorite
a good
time.
word?
It's story time.
Story time.
Yes, there was a
Tem-
problem with the podcast feed, and now we fixed it, so we
tempestuous.
get to move on, right?
tempestuous. Is that a good word?
It's a great word. It's a very
Tempestuous.
tempestuous week, but we got it sorted.
But
now we
no, because I think we've got to.
Hold on.
No,
We've
No.
got to let
Hold
people
on.
know about
No,
the.
no.
It's a 20-minute epic.
No, no, no.
No,
I've
no.
decided that I'm going to time this.
yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
And at what point is the? Oh, so you can just
The
see in
only one
general
I
how long
think
it
no,
takes?
no, right.
Go,
It's
Stu.
been all of this shit, right? But
ahead.
the only thing, the only person really in all of this that I want to talk about is Bert, right?
Bert,
Bert.
like
because-
Ernie and Bert from the Muppets.
No, Bert from Podbean, right?
Oh, Podbean. You know what, Podbean? We got
Right.
something for you here, Podbean.
yourself.
So I'm gonna tell you how all this went, right? So this is how all this went.
Strap in,
I'm-
people. This is going to be a
Strap in,
tale
people.
for the
Sit back.
ages.
Sit back.
Yeah.
I hope you've got
Get
a
a
long
drink.
journey.
Put your feet up. Yeah. You know how much he loves telling a story when there's a little bit of story to tell. Now this week he's got a big story to tell. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it all started because I think it was Armar.
When I
Armar
was
texts
born.
me. Armar texts me, right?
Yes.
And he said, Stu, I use your podcast to help me get to sleep at night because you're so boring. And now I haven't got anything to help me get to sleep because it's
Boring.
not on. It's not out.
Yeah.
Where's the latest episode, right? So I was
Come
like,
on.
well, that's a bit.
He's
it's a bit weird. I
dependent on
published it
us.
2 hours ago, so why is it not out anywhere? So I went on Podbean. Sure enough, it sat there on Podbean, no problems. But as I was looking, I'm like, that web address doesn't look right because it had all these weird letters and numbers after 035S. I'm like, that's a bit weird. That wasn't like it used to be. So I went to Spotify because I can see the feed at Spotify. So I had a look at the feed at Spotify, and the feed at Spotify was just the old 035s.feed.podbean.com or .xlm or
So everything was normal on
ML.
Spotify.
No, it wasn't because the feed on
The
Podbean
weird
had all
numbers from Podbean
had all these-
transferred over to
wasn't on Spotify. So it didn't update on Spotify, so there was no sign of it there. No
Okay.
sign of it on iTunes. Right.
Right.
So I'm like, well, this is all a bit weird. What the fuck's
What
going
the
on
fuck?
here?
Come
What the hell's
on,
going
Podbean. What are you doing?
So I thought better contact customer services.
Better call
Podbean.
Saul.
So I sent him an email, and this is what I said. I said, look, hi. It appears that the RSS feed URL has changed for my podcast, and as a result, the episode has not been updated on Spotify, Apple, etc. Can you explain why this has happened, and please fix it? Right? That's a fairly, normal request, is it not?
Yeah.
And this is the response I got. This is the first response. Hi, thank you for reaching out. You changed your subdomain from 035S to 035SZ2UV8CKBB5. So I've changed this apparently. This gives you a new podcast site and a new RSS feed URL. The other podcast directories will not update automatically with that URL unless you change it yourself. You'll need to update to your new feed URL on other platforms and submit your podcast so they will fetch and update your content. Feel free to contact us if you have any additional inquiries or apprehensions, right? So I'm like, fucking hold up a minute. I haven't done any of this. Not done any of this. So I
How could
replied,
that have gotten changed? That's what I don't get.
not a clue. So I replied, just to be clear, I have never changed anything regarding my subdomain. I wouldn't even know how to do that because I've never gone into like extra settings and shit in Podbean.
Who has the access to this? It's you and Chinny. Does Chinny have access to this?
He does.
Yep.
He does. But
Chinny didn't change it, I
Chinny wouldn't have
assume.
done it.
I barely
Did
uploaded it.
Rich Webster have access to it when he was helping us with our website?
No.
So the two of you are the only ones who have
I
access.
barely
Yeah.
get in there to upload it. You know
So-
what I mean? I barely.
I
get
know,
in.
right?
So I said, so it must be something that's happened at your end. How do I revert it back to the original subdomain? Oh, can you just rectify that? If I had changed it, why would I contact you to ask what has happened?
Well, that's water under the bridge. It's just,
So,
yeah.
Please clarify, thanks, regards. So
Yeah.
this was the reply I got from that one. Hi, Stuart. We highly
Hi,
recommend
Stuart.
you.
Fuck you.
Well, yeah,
Eat
pretty
my
much.
ass.
Hi, Stuart. We highly recommend you not to change the slug subdomain, not in capital letters, can I just say, or feed URL unless it's absolutely necessary or want to start the podcast from scratch. Changing the slug will cause your feed URL to change. Change the feed
That's
URL
what happened, geniuses.
could cause issues on other platforms that you submit your. Please refer to this link below, which is like, don't change it, right? I have forwarded your
That's all.
ticket.
It's just a website that says don't change it.
I have forwarded your ticket to our technical staff in order to help with further
Oh, okay.
investigation. We will get back
Technical
to you
stuff.
with more information and resolution. Feel free to contact us if you have any additional inquiries or apprehensions, right?
Yeah.
Bert. So I replied saying, hi, to clarify, I have not changed anything. And again, to reiterate, I would have no idea how to even do that. I don't even know what a slug is. You really are providing no assistance. As you can see, I have been using Podbean since 2008 to upload my show. Why on earth would you think I would change anything after 16 years of uploading the show every week? But whilst you are not assisting me, our listeners are not able to access our new episodes of the show. This is clearly something that has occurred at your end. Do you really think I would add a random set of letters and numbers to the end of 035S? Please could you advise how I complain and take this further? Regards, Stuart, right? And that was it. Never heard of them again. No updates.
Well, maybe the technical team hasn't gotten back to us yet.
Nothing. Not a sausage.
17 weeks later.
And then I
That's
raised
crazy.
another ticket, which wasn't even acknowledged. So I didn't even get the automatic email for that ticket, right? Saying
Yeah.
they will look into it. And I also did like 3 days later, hi, please, can you update me on what's happening regarding the issue I have raised? As I can still see it hasn't been rectified many times. And that was it. Never heard of
They
him
sent
again.
a picture back of his ass in the mirror.
It
Like, here's
probably
your
was.
update.
But it's like, what the fuck? What sort of customer
Don't go to
service is that?
Podbean for your
That-
podcasting needs.
The worst customer. I think Bert is literally just the customer service. I think there's just him sat there. And he's like, "Fuck off! You can fuck yourself. I don't give a shit." And I
See,
think that's it.
I'm just befuddled by how this would have happened because, I mean, it's
Not
possible that
a
you
clue.
accidentally typed something when you were uploading the show or something.
No,
It's
literally,
possible.
right? No, it isn't. Because to get
You said
to
you didn't know
work-
how to do it. It's
No, well, I
like,
do
it's-
now because he
Oh,
sent me a
okay.
link telling me.
Okay.
Right. So to do this, right, you have to go into settings, then into general. Then at the bottom of general, there's advanced settings. Then you have to click on a down arrow. Then you have to delete what's in the
See,
feed. In, like, the
Millie
web
was
thing.
messing with you, and she's like, I'm
No.
gonna screw with my dad, and then she hears
So
you
you've literally
freaking
got
out.
to go.
Oh, I'm not confessing to
delete
this
it,
now.
and then you've got to manually type in what the new domain you want it to be.
Could you not go in and like remove what was in there?
No. So this is where it gets more interesting, right? So I thought, well, that's
Oh,
fine.
hang on, people. It's about to get interesting.
That's fine. I know what to do now. I can go in and just change it back
Right.
to what it was originally.
I doubt that.
Sure.
No, you can't. And this is a reason, but this makes it even weirder, right? So I went in to try and change it just to 035S as it's always been. And
Yes.
then this rules thing came up saying the first 4 digits have to have at least 2 letters, right? So that's fine. There's 2, there's O and S. That's fine. First 2 digits have to be letters. But that's not the case even with the new one. But that
So
one's
weird.
fine. So I couldn't even change it back to 035S. It just wouldn't accept it.
That's so
So,
bizarre.
so we're fucked, right? At this point, I'm like, shit, I can change it on Spotify. That's
Cancel
fine.
the show.
I know, that's fine.
That's
But
it. We're done here, people.
done.
Sorry. Thank you for listening.
So
it was a
I
good
thought-
run while we had it.
I'll log into iTunes and do it there. Logged into iTunes. Obviously, I don't have access to the podcast on iTunes because Diablo set this up 16 years ago. Right? So I have no access to it on iTunes at all. So apart from it automatically updating because it had the right feed, nothing I can do. So I'm like, shit. So I emailed Apple, which I'll be honest, like night and day compared to Podbean.
Yeah, because
So-
Steve Jobs is like, hey man, I got you.
I got the lovely Jocelyn, right? Who
Oh, Jocelyn.
taught me through everything I needed to do. I can claim the podcast. That was no problems. And within 2 days of contacting her the first time, the podcast is in my ownership now on iTunes, and it's finally
We love you, Apple.
all sorted.
Fuck you,
Also, I
Podbean.
thought. Also, I
Uh-oh.
thought. Because then
jeez.
what happened? So that was all sorted. Updated the feed on iTunes. That's all fixed. Everything's done. Now, stupidly, I thought all these podcasts, like Podcatcher and Podcast Addict and all these
Fred's podcast bin.
all these podcast
mum.
places,
Yeah.
your mum, that people
Wanker's
use
House of Podcast Buckets.
automatically update from iTunes and therefore get the new feed. I get the
Nope.
new show.
They're coming
Nope.
from Podbean, ain't they?
Nope, that's not what happened. So
Yeah.
what I've had to do for quite a few, I've had loads. I've been like fucking technical support this week because I've had
Stu.
loads. loads of people emailing or messaging and going, still can't get it. It's still saying like the last week's show. It's still not
I
saying
can't
it.
get it on Fred's
And then-
vomitorium of podcasts.
This is I've downloaded 4 different podcast sites. You know that is.
You really,
Just
Four.
you really
just-
are putting yourself out there.
How are
Stu.
you even
Just
here now, Stu?
4.
You're so worn out from
four,
Bloody hell.
just to figure out how to update the feed on each one, so I can
Did
tell
the end
people
of your
what
thumb
to do.
fall off again
It
because of all
did.
the tapping?
It did. It did. But
He's got like sweat pouring down his head.
4.
Oh God.
Okay, I've downloaded
Okay,
4
get me,
apps.
a, get me a water.
I've
But
downloaded
we
4 apps
finally-
tonight. Look, just leave me alone. I can't think.
finally got there, and hopefully
We
moving
appreciate you doing
forward-
that work, Stu, because
It's
it's good
been-
to have
honestly,
our podcast
I've-
up and running again.
I've,
and
I've had no
sucks
time
to
to
have
play
go
games
through it.
because I've been dealing with this all week.
Yes,
Hours and hours I've been spent doing all this shit.
sure.
Honestly,
Well, we appreciate you doing it. Now everything's fine again.
everything's fixed, but fuck
Time,
me,
Chinny.
it was a
Um,
toil.
That was 10.5 minutes.
That's
There
not
you
so
go.
bad.
Not too
I
bad.
thought it was going to be twice that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Uh,
Stu, for
as
doing
I
all
said
that.
on the- yes,
Yeah.
thank
thank
you.
you, Stu. We do appreciate it. I don't want to sound like
Yeah.
As I was,
don't
as
appreciate
I
I
it.
said
got a
on
message.
the-
Can I just say I got a message off Chinny going, "Yeah, Stu, I'm away doing work, and well, it's Rose's birthday, so sorry I can't help."
Can't do anything. Sorry.
Can't
Not
do
that he would be
it,
help
sorry.
anyway. What's he going to
No,
do?
exactly.
Anyway, the point that I said on the WhatsApp is that it's very frustrating if we were to lose the feed and start over from nothing. That would be very frustrating. But at the same time, a feed and the number of followers we have, that's a possession. And as Homer Simpson once said,
Possessions are fleeting.
of course, he was trying to get out of answering to Lisa about using her bracelet as a nose ring, but
So the best sound, by the way, the best answer to this is just listen on YouTube. That always
that's the best
works.
answer.
That's the best answer.
Of course.
Don't listen.
Yeah, oh, don't
Yeah,
bother.
that's even
Don't
better.
bother.
Cuts it all out.
Oh no, don't say that. We'll get in trouble.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, do listen. We really
Oh,
appreciate
yeah,
all
we
the
love it.
listeners.
Yeah, we really
We
appreciate it.
appreciate you, but there's better things you could be listening to than us.
Yeah, that is also
Oh yeah,
true.
there's loads.
You're awesome listeners. We're the terrible ones. Anyway, yeah, I have a story to tell that's related to gaming, actually. And this is from
Really?
like 2 weeks ago. So last night, this is not related to gaming, but I will say that yesterday, the Duchess was looking in the newspaper and she goes, "Oh my God, Matthew Sweet's playing in town tonight." And I was like, all right, let's go. I don't give a what about Matthew Sweet, but she likes him. So
Who
I
the
was like,
hell
all right,
is
I'll be a
that?
good husband.
Who is that?
Matthew Sweet. You wanna be in the arms of a good friend.
Yeah, no idea.
So that's the only song I know of his. It's called Girlfriend. It was a big hit in the early 90s, late 80s.
I don't
something
know
like that.
any of his songs.
Sure.
That's okay. The point is, I couldn't remember how it went. So all day long, I was just singing random songs and putting Girlfriend in the middle of it. It's just like, sweet emotion with a girlfriend. Like,
Brilliant.
she's climbing a stairway to girlfriends. The Skies always had little fluffy girlfriends.
I
So
like
anyway,
that.
we
That's
went.
good. I like the last one.
It was a fun thing. And we went, and it was a good show. It was acoustic set. She enjoyed herself, and we had a good dinner. So there was that. However, a few weeks back, Chinny, I sent you some pictures on WhatsApp, so you should be ready to throw them on the screen.
Yes.
A few weeks back, we went to a pizza spot, and
I'm very ready for that. I'm definitely
Great.
got that ready.
I'm glad to hear it. It's a good thing you
totally
let me
on the
know.
ball with those pictures. there.
Yes.
So,
Well, that's
like,
why I reminded
because
you.
if I wasn't on the ball, I'd be stalling and stuff. But I'm on it, so it doesn't matter because I've got them ready.
Well, I was going to introduce the story, so it's not that urgent for you to stall. But
well,
the
you
point
know,
is,
like every second counts. If I was trying to stall, but
we
I'm
went
not.
to a pizza place, and as we're going there, the
Pizza.
Duchess
that
is
pizza's a
like,
good food, isn't it? I like pizza. Sorry, go on, Tim.
You know, you can get your 5 a day. You get all your food groups out of a pizza.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
Shut
you
the
get-
hell up!
Sorry.
you get
So,
carbohydrates.
we went to this
you get
pizza place.
fat,
okay, go on.
vegetables.
we went to, I got a stereo. We went to a pizza place, and the pizza place is also owned by people who own an arcade. And I was like, "Oh, dude, pizza arcade! This is gonna be lit!" So we go there and we order the pizza, and we're like, "Where's the arcade?" And they're like, "It's around the corner." And I was like, "Yes!" So we go to the arcade. First of all, it's not run with tokens anymore. I don't know if this is the deal with places where you're at, but you buy this card and then you put money on the card and then you wave the card in
No.
front of the machine.
No,
seen
arcade
them.
club. It's free.
I
You pay
know.
50
Yeah, but
quid
most-
and then
Well,
most
everything's
that's the
places-
thing. That's what it
most
should
places.
be.
Most places you do pay for tokens and stuff. Yeah, I've seen the.
Yeah,
cards.
I mean, I'd pay for token. I'm used to tokens.
Not
but
the
this was
best
like
places.
this card. But the thing is that we live in a cashless society, so I suppose they're in a zone where it's like,
No, it
you
should be
know,
no
they're
cash.
transitioning.
No cash, plastic or otherwise, is what it should be.
Well, but there's got to be money exchange.
No,
somehow.
like entrance fee, and then
Right. But the point is this. I bought a card. I was like, all right, whatever. Who knows what we'll play? So I got the card, and then I look around, and I paid the cheapest one they had was $5, and I mean it was like 23 plays or something. So it's not or like 18 plays maybe. So it's not exactly 25 cents each, which is what it was traditionally. But it was okay. I was like, whatever. I'll support a local arcade. And then I'm looking around, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's like 5 actual video game machines, Galaga, Dig Dug, Ms. Pac-Man, the standard old school cabinets. And then I'm looking around at the rest of the stuff, and it's all these really brightly lit, like pastel fluorescent lights. And like one of them was just this big, like the whole machine was just one big stuffed bear. And then at the top, there's like this cable that it's on, and then like a pair of scissors. And I'm like, okay, I don't know much about like carnival games, but I know there's no way I'm going to pay 25 cents and have those scissors cut that cable and get this big old bear out. And that was the whole game. I'm like, what? This is ridiculous.
I bet you struggled to have your 18 plays, didn't you?
I got like 4, and the Duchess played a game of Ms. Pac-Man, and then I was like, I should have given the card to some kid or something, because there were other, there's like a claw machine, right? I'm like, okay, a claw machine. First of all, it's the weak claw with the angled fingers.
Yeah, so it never picks anything up.
It's not, exactly. But the things it was picking up, they're all these very big stuffed animals. Like there's no way it was going to even come close to picking it, and they're all packed in. It was such a scam. And then there was another one that was like enormous lollipops, like the size of my head. And I'm like, well, first of all, how can you eat that if you get it? And then like, there's no way that claw's picking that up. The whole place felt like a big scam. And then there was another thing that was like, not skee ball, but it was like a spin the wheel thing, and then you'd get 10 tickets, 3 tickets, 2 tickets, and then you could trade the tickets in, and it's all automated. There's no guy there like handing you prizes for tickets. It's just like another machine where you put tickets in, and you could get a bracelet or some shit. So it just felt like, I'm used to arcades kind of ripping kids off. That was my whole childhood. You go and you play skee ball, and you get 5 tickets, and then you get a comb or some shit. But this is next level, man. This is like, we got to get more money out of these
This was the
kids.
management, right? The management were like, well, these arcade machines back in the day used to rip kids off because they made them so difficult that you just kept sticking quarters in every 5 seconds because that's how you made loads of cash. How can we make more cash on top of that?
And give them less stuff to show for it when they go to the...
Oh, my God.
I mean, say what you want about those stupid combs that you left the arcade with. At least you had something. These kids aren't going home with anything.
I feel like, Duke, you need to put a bad review on for that particular place.
I can't do that until I actually try this machine with the big old bear in it. Like, I just want to know what happens when you push a button.
Why didn't you have a try while you were there?
I should have done, but I was like, that feels like a waste. I need to go back. I still have the card. I need to go back and spend the...
It's still got to be a waste when you do it, when you go back.
Of course it is, but I'll know for sure that it's a scam, because right now I don't know. Maybe nobody bothers playing it because they're like, there's no way that works. But as soon as you push a button, it goes snip, and it's like you have a big old bear.
How's that bear going to fit through any hole? What hole is that going in?
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Which hole is that going through?
That's what she said. Anyway, the point is...
You know what I mean, though? It's enormous.
I know what you mean. So we played a little Galaga. It was the slow shooting Galaga, which, again, like, come on, y'all. Get the fast shooting Galaga. What are y'all doing? But I set the high score, and then I went to put my initials in, ESP, but it said ESS. Like, I guess it accidentally hit the button twice. And so I was whatever. Everyone knows I'm the man. And so it was very good pizza. It's just the arcade was very lackluster. I was very disappointed.
Here's what I'll say to you, Duke.
What will you say to me?
Next time you come to the UK, which will probably be in another 40 years, who knows? Who knows when that may ever be?
Yeah.
You'll have to come to Arcade Club with us, and we'll show you a proper arcade.
Oh, there's proper arcades near me.
Hundreds of arcade cabinets and free.
Yes, I've been to there's a proper arcade place
drinks
nearby. Yeah, that has
free to play once you're in.
Yeah, sure. That's a good deal. I'm just saying, like, not every arcade is built the same. Watch out, people.
What I've enjoyed let's reflect. What I've enjoyed about today's episode of the podcast is that
Nothing.
that I've had possibly one of the biggest life events of my life, and I said it in 2 sentences. Stu had 2 jabs and strung it out, and then
Yeah, it's true,
Duke
it's true.
went to a vending machine and strung it out.
Well, Chinny, do you have pictures of Rose's birthday? Because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
so,
do you have any
put them on the
pictures?
screen and talk it up. Otherwise, maybe we could move on to video games
Yeah,
since
that's
that's
a
what
good
people tune
idea.
in for. Not
Well, maybe.
baby birthday, baby.
That's
I
if they
would,
can
I would,
listen.
I would upload them, but they're too cute. They're gonna kill you with the cute.
Yeah, they are. They
Yeah,
break the
I
internet,
bet
man.
they are killers.
Okay.
With.
Yeah.
What
What's
did
the
you buy it,
best
by the way?
gift
What
somebody
present?
got
Yeah, what did
Rosa
you get her?
for her birthday?
We bought her a little dog. We only bought her one present.
What, an actual dog?
No, like a little fluffy dog.
It's the one from the vending machine.
Yeah,
my God.
We got it from a vending. We just had to cut the cord at the top, and it just dropped down.
It
Yeah,
was
I
very
did.
easy. It
It
worked
was
easy.
easy, yeah. So everybody's been very generous and given Rosa lots of gifts. We haven't
Yes.
opened one of them because there are, I'm not joking, around about 35 gifts.
Oh my
Holy
god.
gift bag.
shit.
So we're gonna just do like 2 or 3 a night and just go, here, Rose,
Nice.
open these. And so we don't know.
And
what
she'll
anybody's
Is
just-
she
doing.
like
let's be
connecting to
honest.
it? Is she like, this is
No,
for me? Like
she'll
getting
just
that
dribble.
connection?
She'll just
looks at it,
dribble on
she-
them.
when the present was opened this morning with the dog, she liked the dog, but she doesn't understand that this is a present to open. She's just like,
No, she's only
She
one.
wants to have that tub of stuff that she can put the lid on again. Like you said
Millie,
last
Millie
time.
was more interested in the paper than the actual
yeah, the
present that
paper,
was
yeah.
inside it.
And that was last year's birthday party.
Yeah,
for
that
me.
was last year. That was Millie last year. That was.
Yeah, bless her. Bless her.
Bless
Cool.
her. Do you know she's 23 in about
23.
2 months? 2 months,
23.
23.
Man, now there's a life moment, stage of life. All right, are we ready to talk about video games, or do you want
I
to say something
don't
else about Rose's
know.
birthday?
No, let's talk about video games. Come on.
Okay.
Where are you going? Story time's over.
What you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
So the person who's had no time to play games still has the most games,
most games, yeah.
listed. So you're going first, Stu.
Okay,
that's
right.
how dedicated he is. To the
I am
Yeah,
a
he
bloody
is.
dedicated, unlike you
Rack 'em
two
and sack 'em.
slackers. Slackers.
Hey, I got a
Uh,
lot to say about one of my games.
Slackers.
Hey, I got nothing
so,
to say about anything.
yeah.
Because you had a big
So-
life moment.
Yeah.
So I started. I mentioned this the other week. I've started Until Then again.
Yeah, you did.
I
With
was
the
like-
bouncing kids.
With the bouncing kids, I'm like, see if this is any different because apparently it changes every playthrough.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the first 30 minutes or so, 35, 40 minutes, was exactly the same.
yeah.
So there was nothing different, nothing deviated. Everything was the same. So I was
Sure.
like, maybe this isn't really gonna make him that big. Is it just gonna be something right at the end after I've played it for like another 12 hours, and then it's like, oh, that's
be.
different.
And
But
she's
no,
like, I got a green hat this time. You're like, oh my god.
no.
Proton
So-
their life.
No, here it is. I got the sound clip.
But she's got a new hat.
So the first part of the game is basically you're this slacker, right? Like you two guys,
Right.
and
Hey.
you're meant to have done slides for a presentation for
Stu
like
does,
a book
Stu
review.
does something for a week and thinks he's fucking.
You're meant to be
This is-
like,
This is grueling work. Go on.
Yeah, you
Yes.
slackers.
Slides for a presentation.
so you're meant to do slides for a presentation for class, and you're working with these two girls, and one of them's like proper, like wants everything to be perfect, and she's like the
Yes.
class's star pupil.
Amy Santiago, if you will.
So my first question was, why the fuck would you let the slacker do the slides
Yeah, really.
if you?
Well,
it's
because she
gonna
doesn't
re-
want to have to do all the work.
If it's going to
she
reflect
usually has to do
badly
all
on
the
you,
work.
yeah, but if it's going to reflect badly on you,
But he
wouldn't,
could
would
step
you?
up and do his fucking job.
Well, point is, he doesn't step up, right?
Well,
So it doesn't do that.
Shit on him.
But in my first playthrough, you meet up with the other girl that you're doing the presentation with, and
Yeah.
you decide to do it really fast, like in the library. So you go to the library, you meet up, and you're like, right, let's do this. And you keep coming up with like, right, we need to do background. And she's like furiously typing on her keyboard.
And it sounds like this.
It is a bit like that, right? And then at the end of it all, he goes, we'll just have to wing it. Just going to wing it.
Yeah, just
Right.
go in and
Wing it.
bebop on the bebop-a-doo-doo-doo-doo,
So you go
scat,
into
jazz,
class,
scat.
and she's like, "Have you done the slides?" She's like, "Yeah, of course I've done them." And you've already texted her earlier to tell her that you'd definitely done them, right? And lied through your teeth. So you get up in
What a
front of the
bum.
class, right?
Yeah.
And it actually goes okay. And you get
right.
totally away with it, right? Totally away with it.
Nice. See, that's why he doesn't do it, because he knows it'll work out fine.
Yeah, got away with it. So you meet up with the star pupil later because she's doing a chess tournament. So you go to cheer her on.
Yeah.
So you go to cheer her on. But you meet up with a like completely random girl. That's not the girl you were doing the presentation with. It was some other girl that she's
Ooh.
come with, right?
All
and you get
right.
chatting to her, and she's like,
Oh.
"Oh, it's because you fancy her, isn't it?" And all this stuff. Like, gives you all this, like, you know. And she's like, "Well, you need to know she's meeting a boyfriend later, so like, you haven't got a chance." And all this stuff. Like,
fuck.
Anyway, so that's the first playthrough, right?
Come on now.
Second playthrough, okay. You do the slacking thing again. You do the cramming thing again to try and get it finished before you go into class. Then you're going to do the winging it thing.
Yeah.
And it goes completely tits up, right?
Oh,
the
man.
teacher says, like, "Guess you didn't have enough time, even though I gave you this 2 weeks ago," right?
So is that a random thing, or is it something else you did
I
that
have
makes
no
it
idea.
go bad?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's just because it's the second playthrough. So, like, properly bollocks you, right? Then the girl who's playing chess is like, "You loser," all right? She's not happy at all.
Come
She's
on,
like,
loser.
"You fucking loser," right? So that all happens, right? And you get, and you're like, "Oh shit, I fucked this up big time."
Oh, jeez.
Then you go to watch the chess tournament, but you're with the girl who you like fucked it up with. So, like, again, different.
Yeah.
Get there, and you write you write placards out, and she's like, "Really sorry for messing them things up. Go with the chess tournament, right? Go." And
Yeah.
I write, "We're a couple of lame losers" on my placard. And all that. So it's so far there has been big differences between the two playthroughs.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking. I love, right, like there's a bit where you're sort of lying in bed at night texting, and you're in like 3 different group chats at the same time, and you've got to choose what to respond to each one of them individually.
Yeah. Fuck you. Hey, have a
Yeah.
good night, everybody.
And it's very natural. It's really well written. It's really believable. And I do feel like this is how the kids talk. You know what I mean? This is what they're doing. So, yeah, massively impressed so far with the second playthrough. And I mean,
Okay.
I'll be interested to see what else is different, because so far it's very different. And if it is, I'm just like, that's pretty impressive, because it was a 12-hour game already, and now this is another 12 hours. That might be vastly
You
different to
got
the first
branching
12 hours.
storylines going everywhere.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. I'm
Yeah.
kind of shocked at how different it's been, even just in this very small part of, because I think I've only probably played it for another, like, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe a couple of
Yeah.
hours. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's really, really good. I'm really impressed with this game. So,
I'm glad
but
you're
people are
enjoying it.
saying, like, there's even changes again on the 3rd and 4th playthrough. So this
Dude.
game
So are
constantly
you going to play
changes.
it a 3rd and 4th time?
I don't know. That's such a commitment,
It
isn't it? 'Cause
depends
you're
on
like,
if the podcast feed doesn't go wrong
Oh,
again.
yeah, exactly. And then I'll have no time to do
I
anything.
think maybe that's why the podcast feed went wrong, is because it's butterfly effect, and so you play the game and everything goes wrong
Yeah.
in real life. That's what you don't realize.
Yes, it's not someone trying to sabotage the show at all.
Chinny's trying to get
Yeah,
out of the show.
exactly.
He doesn't have the heart to just say,
You know,
"Oh, guys, I
part
need
of
to
me-
stop doing it."
Part of me did wonder, though.
Mm,
I was just thinking about it. I was like, is Chinny messing about it?
no.
By the way, if you are interested at all until then, this is actually on offer for the midweek deal, which unfortunately ends in 20 hours. So by the time you hear this, which could be in another week if the feed goes fucked up again, yeah, you might not get it. It's £11 at the moment, which is an absolute steal. It's absolute steal.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think I
people
would
who are
like
loving
but-
this game, they're playing like 35 hours, 37
Jesus.
hours, 26
Going through the same
and a half
conversations 3
hours.
times, 4
Oh,
times.
you're not, because it changes, doesn't it?
Well, at some point. but the first
24
part of it-
hours. I mean, there's some big play times on Steam. I thought I'll just have a look, see how long people have played this for.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
some big play times.
thank you for joining us for the Steam user time survey. Anything else about Until Then?
No, it's great.
Okay.
I think this is it's gonna be up there. Well, it's definitely top 3, but where it's gonna land.
Really?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Wow.
I've been massively impressed with everything about it. The story, the dialogue, even I like the way it's presented. You know, just like everything about it.
Yeah.
It's right in my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Massively. So yeah, I can't recommend
Yes.
it enough.
Okay.
I think this is as good as To the Moon, if not a bit better. This is
Damn, that's
this
strong
is
praise.
that level of good.
Okay.
Okay.
Duly noted.
Duly noted. There you go.
Okay. Well, y'all know me. Everybody knows that I fuck with our MMOs, and
Yeah.
especially when they're free.
do.
Oh yeah.
So
You love a
this
free
week,
MMO.
yeah, this week we had a new free MMO showing up, and it's called Throne and Liberty.
Sounds awful.
And it was designed by NC, I think something. I don't know who the developer is, but the publisher is Amazon Games, and everyone knows how much I love Amazon. Hate the company. Fucking loving their games, man. New World is one of my favorite MMOs ever, and this game is really good. I'm really liking it. The controls are a little janky. You have 2 options about how you control it. You can either move the screen around with your mouse and then like click on people that you're targeting, or you can use action mode for the targeting and move it around so that your mouse is, you know, it's like a first person. It's a third person game, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. The graphics are excellent. The graphics are really nice. There's a little bit of stuttering, but I just think it looks really beautiful, this world, and a lot of detail, and the monsters are interesting to look at. One of the best things early on in the process was when it asks what the UI scale ought to be, which I'm very grateful for, because especially they keep putting more and more stuff on these screens. I'm squinting. I'm like, God damn, what's all this text, tiny little letters? So you can make it, you know, bigger and that's very nice. Because I remember back in the day, I was saying there needed to be large print games, and now we have that. So it's good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point you're like running. Okay, so the biggest, I know. But wait, there's more than just running. You can transform into different animals based on whether you're running or if you're flying, you turn into a bird. Like if you jump off, you don't have a glider.
Just a
like you
minute.
do
I
in
was
some
just going to say,
RPGs.
how are you flying before you're a bird?
But see, as the thing, you jump off you're a human, you jump off the cliff, and then you can be a bird and like float down. So it's kind of like having a glider, but you turn into a bird. They can glide.
They glide.
I don't know if you know this, Stu, but when birds flap their wings, they don't just constantly flap.
Does
They'll
the
flap
bird you
and then
turn
hold them
into?
out.
Well, they do, but then they carry on flapping and stay in the air. Do you just not?
But sometimes if they need to land, they'll just sort of float down to the ground, and that's what this bird does. So anyway,
so basically, this is
when-
the hang glider out of like Zelda, but it's a bird.
Well, it's a standard issue RPG glider, except you turn into a bird, and you can also like you move up, and you can, you're a bird, like you can float, you fly around, and go longer distances and stuff.
Oh, you can do that. You made it sound like it was just like you just floated down to the floor.
Well, no, it depends on what you need to do. But when you're in the water, you turn into
like
an
a bird.
otter,
like a bird.
You turn into a
you can turn into an otter when you're in the water.
An otter.
Well, not a fish.
Otter, yes.
Not a fish.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not a fish. I mean, there's all these things you can unlock probably by paying them money, but the standard one is an otter. And then when you're running around, you turn into a wolf and you go faster. So there's a good reason to do it. Like it was at first I thought it was just an aesthetic thing, but it's not. It's you actually and there's a grappling hook. So it's like, yes. So when you're down in the city and you need to get a better view of things, you can just jump on a roof and then fly down as a bird. It's really cool getting around in this game.
Wouldn't it have been cooler if you could have turned into a frog and then used its tongue as your grappling hook?
No.
You know what I think?
No, I don't
because
think so.
that would be like an animal.
That's just
version of a
Toad in
grappling hook.
X-Men. You know what happens to a
Exactly.
frog when it gets struck by lightning?
I think that's
Same thing that happens to everything else.
Gex the Gecko as well. I think also do that. And Chameleon Twist as well also does.
I
that.
like having a grappling hook, but maybe there's a game out there for you, Stu, where you can
No, but
use your
I'm just saying
tongue.
everything else you turned into an animal to
That's
achieve.
true, but that's
So
just,
why
it's just
don't you just
every
turn
once in
into
a
an
while.
animal
You're
for
not turning into an animal very often. Like it's just a way to get around.
I just read up on the game, and when you take a shit, you turn into a cow.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like a cow. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that bugs me about some RPGs and MMOs in a way is that the cities don't really feel alive in some games. Guild Wars 2 doesn't really have living cities. Enshrouded has no cities at all. Like it's all,
Hey,
the
want a city?
horrible plague
No.
came along and killed everybody. So there's these remnants of cities and there's just monsters in them. Or like farmhouses that have been corrupted. New World has cities. Witcher 3 has very vibrant cities, right? And that's important because when you're wandering around these open worlds, like you want to be in a
You want
place
to be able
that
to go
feels
into the
like humans
city
are
and be
living
like,
there.
"Hey, look, there's a dog there," and the dog goes, "Hey,
What's up,
yeah,
bitches?"
I'm a
Yeah.
dog." And
Yeah.
that's
Do you know? I remember. Do you know the
Some good
worst
dialogue.
game? The worst game I ever played.
Until then,
Shut up. that had the worst city type things was Deus Ex.
tell.
Deus
Yeah.
Ex. And it was just like people doing
Dead.
canned
Dead,
animations.
isn't it? It's just dead.
It's just awful. It was just
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Like you walk past them, they did the exact same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like it was just awful.
But
So at one point-
you go to Wolverhampton, and it is a little like that. To be fair,
Yeah, it was actually. I
People-
think it was based.
people
on
sweeping with
Wolverhampton.
no broom. They're just glitching.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
Awful.
dude. Carry on.
No, it's all right. At one point in the early part of the game, because it's all like, you gotta get to the village and save people, and it's all very panicky. You're running around, and they're like, turn into a wolf so we can go faster, and you turn into a wolf, and it's like, yes, and then and you're running, and then this tower that you're going sort of in the direction of, it like falls over in front of you. It was like, oh my god, it felt very epic. You know what I mean? Like that split second video game when the stuff would be falling and crashing and stuff. So that was a cool moment because again, in most MMOs the scenery doesn't change ever. So the fact that this tower like collapsed and got in your way, and then you had to use the grappling hook to get over it, and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
It is looking a lot like The Witcher here.
Yeah, it does look
I
very
think they're
Witcher.
shooting for some of that. Yeah.
It's like there's your character's got grey hair. You're talking to a woman with large
Well, that's just
tats.
you can make your character look however you want.
But you're talking to a woman with large tats with red hair.
Yes.
That also happens
Right.
in The Witcher.
Yes,
And
it does.
They're having sex on a horse. Is this The Witcher? I think I'm looking at the wrong video here.
You got
dude.
the wrong video. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
The combat is a good mix of passive and active. Again, like Guild Wars 2. If you like Guild Wars 2, you really should check out Throne and Liberty because
I don't
the-
like
the-
Guild Wars 2.
I know I'm not talking to you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking to our listeners.
Well, you
it's
are
okay.
talking to me.
People who would be
Well,
interested, not you.
You're in the way. You're here, so I have to.
I've been
kinda
told
talk
that
to
many
you.
times, Dick. I'm in the way.
But you start you target a character or an enemy, and then you sort of activate the attacks. And there's like your number bar at the bottom of the screen has like special attacks you can do. So I'm rocking the sword and the shield. I got the bow and arrow, but I'm not really using that much. So I'm rocking the sword and the shield. And like you got an attack that like you swipe out with your shield, and then there's like an attack where you drive your sword into the person and like push them forward. And so there's a few special, but most of the time it's just it does the attacking automatically. So again, it's a nice mix of passive and active, whereas New World, it's active all the time. I like this little mixture of things. It's a good way to have combat.
Why is there a little leprechaun following you in this?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
what is
that's
that?
that's the Amatoy.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
So
Oh,
is
right.
this
The worst
like?
thing
Can I
about
just
this
say?
game-
Thanks for explaining that.
Is that like
Yes.
the weird backpack baby thing that you had in the other thing you played?
It's like the character in Genshin Impact, the little fairy girl that
Yeah,
follows
yeah.
you around, and the voice acting. Oh my god! I'm happy with Shut the fuck up! Oh my god! And it's not just that spirit that follows you around. It's all there's like children who are like, I'm scared of the wolves. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna leave you for the wolves with your high pitched annoying ass. God, and a lot of the other character actors are like, oh, I don't know where me dog is going to, and it's just oh god,
I didn't know.
get better voice
Stu,
actors.
I didn't know.
y'all.
Stu
Yeah, I
was
didn't
in
know.
the
I
game.
was. Am I in this
You
game?
didn't know that? Yeah, they use your voice. It's AI
I bet you like with
version of
these-
Stu.
With these little kids, you're like, I'm just gonna kill you myself.
Exactly. I
Never
would like to
mind the
leave you for the
wolves.
wolves.
Never mind the
yeah.
You could
wolves.
just turn
I'll
into a
just
wolf and eat them.
Stab you now.
The good news is you can silence your Amatoy, but in the cutscenes it
Silence.
comes back,
Right.
and it's like, shut up. Now, fortunately, it's not saying actual words, so all you have to hear is,
Oh, yeah,
and
what's
that's
he
annoying
doing?
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous.
I think Stu is implying that it's having some sort of masturbation or
It
sexual
does sound like that.
experience.
It does sound like that. But when you do it,
Well-
it sounds like that. Just saying.
Yeah, well, it's like in Zelda.
Ah, yeah.
There is a kind of a cool mini game. At one point, you find this book,
Oh,
and
sounds really cool.
it's like,
Yeah, it does.
isn't it amazing? You find a book,
You
but
just
you
read
can
it. Oh,
rotate
God.
it.
Oh.
You rotate it, and then like at a
Whoa.
certain point, there's like a flap in the book, and you can like
Oh,
peel
yeah.
it back.
Do you not know
and
how
there's like
books works? They've all got like
Who
flaps.
knew?
They open.
It's got a flap that opens.
there's a hidden compartment inside the book,
Oh, I see.
and that's where there's a key for a chest in the room. So it's not a big like puzzle, but it is a little tiny little bit of a puzzle. And that sort of thing shows up from time to time. At one
And
point, you find this goblin skull, and it's got this piece of wood in it, and you have to like rotate it and
Oh,
figure
okay.
out how to like
That
take it
sounds
apart.
cool.
So it's a little cool.
Like the
It's
room.
not great.
A little
Yeah,
bit
like a
the-
Right.
Chinese puzzle box or something.
Exactly. Now, the annoying thing about it is that the same button is used to rotate it as it is to like pull something out of it.
Awful.
So you have to look at when it switches from green to purple. Green is rotate, and purple is
Oh.
like interact with. And sometimes you have to hold it to interact with it, and it thinks you want to rotate it. So it's like, why not just use two different buttons? That's so annoying.
No, but no buttons, just one.
No, but
Yeah, exactly. The teleporting, there's a countdown for it, which is standard in these games in order to
Yeah.
keep people from just spamming the teleporting. But once you teleport, like in New World, if you teleport, it has a loading screen, so it brings the city up. This game, it counts down, and then like you just zoom, zoom, and you're there.
Wow,
So it's pretty cool how fast you actually teleport.
that's impressive. That sounds next
Yeah.
gen. That sounds
yeah, it
cool.
does.
I know,
Zoom.
right?
It sounds
dude?
zoom.
Zoom, zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah. So I'm having a really good time with it. The annoying things aren't too bad, and the combat, like I said, is pretty fun. There's a lot of stuff to do. The writing is okay. The story is nothing to write home about, but I'm really loving it. I'm having a good time. Throne and Liberty, and it's
Well-
free, so the price is right.
Dude, can I ask you a question?
Am I going to be playing this in 2 weeks? The answer is probably not.
No. What are you looking for? Because you play these
Yeah,
MMOs.
I like that question. That's
what
a
are you,
really
what are
good
you looking
question.
for? Because I look at this, Duke, right? And look, it looks. I don't like MMOs, but I look at this. Graphically, it looks fine. It looks like
Yeah.
it's made well. And I looked
Yep.
at the other one that you played and the other one that you
Yep.
played.
Yep.
They all look the same to me, Duke. What are you
Yeah.
looking for?
I tell you what it is. It's the loop. It's the gameplay loop combined with advancement, right? The problem with New World is you get to level 55 and then it's like you can't. That's the level cap. You can't advance anymore. So part of what makes this game so awesome is that it's new and fresh, and the world is wide open, and I'm learning all the stuff. And there's a chance that I'm going to hit a pretty hard plateau once I figure everything out, and then it just becomes kind of grindy. Go do this, go do that, kill this monster, and whatever. I recognize that that's my tendency, and I can't say this game has given me anything above and beyond other games, but I have gone through New World 3 times with different characters, getting them up to level 55. So I don't know. I got my money's worth at least from New World.
That's fair enough. Why don't you just play World of Warcraft and be done with it?
Because that costs money. This is free, you see.
Why don't
Free.
you just
F-
You have
pay?
to pay a,
Free.
you have to pay a subscription. Yeah, exactly. You have to pay a subscription
I'll
fee.
pay. I'll
for-
sponsor it if you want.
But I don't know that World of Warcraft would give me something that this free game doesn't.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I know people love their World of Warcraft, but people love Final Fantasy 14 too, whatever the MMO one is. And I tried that twice and I couldn't get on with it. So I'm like, fuck that.
They fixed
So,
it now. They fixed
okay, that's great. I'm not gonna find out. I'm really liking Throne and Liberty.
Cool.
It's fun. It's
So
captivating.
is this
and
this is another Amazon
It wasn't developed by Amazon, which New World was developed by Amazon, I think, and I'm pretty sure that Lost Age or Lost Ark, whatever it was, which is more of a Diablo type game, this is more of a action RPG, so which Diablo is as well, but I don't know, it controls a little differently. So
Cool.
Throne and Liberty, I'm loving it. I'll find out who the developer is. I think it's a Korean developer, maybe. I keep seeing people talk about Korean games and stuff. Throne and Liberty, developed by NC Soft, established in 1997 in Seoul, South Korea. What else have they done?
Oh, they've been around a while.
They have been around a while. Subsidiaries, Lineage 2, City of Heroes, Guild Wars. Well, no wonder it plays like Guild Wars.
It is Guild Wars.
It is Guild Wars, exactly.
It's just got a new skin.
It's a lot like Stummies.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Stummies.
And the twist is?
It's a much bigger pill.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about Star Trucker and bring
Star
Chinny
Trucker,
into
Mert
it.
Bill.
Oh, this is the time when we talk about to play my game, bitch.
Yeah, thanks! Yeah, bitch! Play my game, bitch.
Yeah, it's got the Breaking Bad connection.
Yeah, bitch!
Star Trucker,
They also made Lineage W, which is another MMORPG. Maybe they should play that.
Of course it is. Star Trucker across the universe.
So Star Trucker
On the Starship Enterprise under Captain
Explain what
Kirk.
we're dealing with here, Stu. What is Star Trucker?
So it's basically a space trucker simulator. So it's like if you imagine Euro Truck,
But you're in
space.
space.
But you're in
In
space.
space.
Now, there's a lot of things I like about this game.
Mm.
Yes.
There's a lot of things I like. The
Graphics.
graphics look
Graphics are good.
great. Graphics are
You
great.
line up to the Stargates and wait to like get approval to launch your truck.
The detail in the truck itself is cool. You
I've
know,
got a
all the
Yeah,
problem.
you got a
stuff.
CB breaker.
I've got a problem with that.
Oh.
Right.
Oh,
I think
oh.
the trucks are too clean.
Wow.
Well, not on the
Wow.
outside, they're not.
No, I was just gonna say I went through a load of debris, and when I stopped, it was scratched to.
No.
Yeah.
On the inside.
But on the inside, you mean? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
I get in the
suppose.
inside. Cause
But maybe you
can get
just
out.
got it.
You can get out and you can look around. I'm like, this is too clean, man. I want a proper trucker, little trucker.
Yeah,
There should be
basically-
piles of shit in the corner.
Yeah,
I want like banana
spaghetti,
peels,
snot
just like a bit-
rags,
yeah,
yeah.
I want all that, you know.
That's
yeah,
the
go
deal.
on.
like
DLC.
takeaway packaging.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
kebab.
Pile of
There's
them in
just
the
a kebab
corner.
there.
Yeah, half
you
a
know?
kebab that uneaten.
Yeah.
And do you know they could have done that? Couldn't they? Could have gone for
Yeah,
a more
it was too
grungy,
clean.
grimy
It
internal.
was too
truck.
clean. Because when it started up and I heard the music, I was like, here we go, we're truckers. We're
The
fucking
music
truckers.
was great. Can I just say,
Yeah.
music's really cool as well.
Yeah, it's well done.
There's a lot to like.
There is a lot to like.
The universe itself looks cool. You know, all the like detail on the roads with the floating bollards and all that stuff looks cool.
Come on then, let's shit on it. Like, come on.
The Stargates look cool.
What are we gonna do? What we
And then
saying?
you actually play the
Then
game.
you play the game.
And you actually play the game.
No,
Oh,
I saw John Mouse posted something in our Discord about this, and he basically, I will read it out after, but like he basically said like it controls like piss, but I think
I didn't mind the controls too
I
much.
think it's meant to be like this slow, methodical, like
Yeah.
like it's truck simulators aren't necessarily fun in themselves.
They're not action games.
They're not arcade action games.
Right.
They are
And-
simulating driving, and I think this is sort of like leaning
And
into that.
I'll say I like that part of it where you get the cargo and you go to the next system and you
Yeah.
park it in the right spot. And like when I nailed the location, I was like, yes, I got it. Unhitch. Here's your money. And then it'll say like, oh, you banged up the container. I'm like, no, I didn't. What the fuck? You should have seen what I almost hit.
Yeah.
Damn. However, here's the thing. When I played the demo of this a few weeks back or a few months back, there was a time when I didn't realize that you have your gravity battery system constantly draining. And if you're not watching out for it, at some point, your gravity system will just go off and all your shit's floating around and you're like, what the fuck do I do? I didn't get to that point here, but I did reach a point where I was just like, I don't want to have to deal with that. And it's not just going into a star dock place and being like, all right, let me buy a battery. Like, you have to get the battery from your airlock and you have to put it in the thing, lift up the stairs and go down and take out the old battery, put the new battery in and all this stuff. It's too arcane. And it's just frustrating. I don't know why they included that shit. Yeah, at the start of the game, I chose drive. There's like 3 different options for what difficulty level you want. And the last time, I think I did like the standard approach. And this time I said driver so that there's less maintenance.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. I won't have to deal with that. But I still, at some point, I noticed that my batteries were getting low. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this at all. Maybe there's a way to turn it off.
But maybe like when it happens, it's like, oh, press this button, and it's not as big a deal to deal with it.
Could be.
Because I had to deal with it pretty quickly, actually, that whole gravity.
Yeah, I got to I dropped off the first cargo, and then I did a proper old person thing. Okay. Because it's like you need to dock, and I was going in forwards and like, why is it not docking?
And then I had the tutorial where it was like, turn around.
Well, he kind of did the tutorial, but you know when you don't really pay attention. And then
I'm the kind of person who pays
and then
attention.
he disappeared, and I couldn't find a way of watching it again. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing
They should
here.
have like a codex that's like, if you
And
forgot.
I'm like,
There's a
I'm
manual
like,
in the glove compartment.
oh, shut up.
Yeah, that's true. There was.
So I kept bumping against it, right? And then it's like,
You
you
just don't like
damaged
it
the
when I
truck.
give you an answer that makes sense.
So, and then to be
You
fair,
got you there, Chinny.
to be fair, it
did,
did suddenly dawn on me what I needed to do. And I'm like,
Yeah.
huh. So then I reversed, got in, and then I picked up my next sort of mission. But then I'm like, I don't know whether I can be bothered with all this tedious changing batteries and patching up the outside of the hull.
See, that's the thing. I don't mind patching up the outside a little bit, but I'm glad I turned it on the low maintenance one. But here was the thing that really pissed me off. I got to a point where I was doing deliveries and I was like making good time. And I got this perk that was like unlock missions that are like timed. And, you know, there was this person who was like, all right, we need you to deliver this, but it can't be before such and such a time and it can't be after such and such. So I had this window, I had to get it there on the right time. And I did, and I locked it in, and it was like, thanks, I'm going to come to you next time I need something delivered with no questions asked. And I was like, all right, this is kind of a cool, you know, storyline going on here. And then they were like, like the quests in the upper left corner just went away. And I was like, I guess I have some time. I'm going to go see what's on the, you know, project board. So I go to the project board, the delivery, you know, thing. And it says, pick up this thing from this bay and deliver it over here. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll do that. So I go to it and I'm trying to back up to, you know, link it up, right? And I'm pretty much there, except I'm at kind of an angle. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? So I keep going back, and I must have tapped it. And I was going, and it just starts floating away. And I was like, oh, fuck me. So, like, I get in front of it, and I'm, like, trying to stop it by getting in front of it. And then, like, I turn around, I try to I think I'm getting it. And again, I'm at, like, the wrong angle, and it just floats away. I was like, you know what?
Fuck this game. I'm done.
Yeah.
I think it's just the tediousness of it, isn't it? Is the issue.
But I mean, so for me, it's not even the tediousness. For me, it was the fact that if you're near the link up spot, there should, and maybe there is, I didn't check, but there should be an option for like how close you need to get before you can like suck it into your machine, you know, to link it up. Because they had so specific, so particular, and I was like, "Come on!"
I do think that they're obviously aiming for that simulation.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
Player who wants all that.
It's like again, it's like last week. I thought this was gonna be a fun game where you drive trucks through the mud. No, you need to measure the depth of the lake.
Yeah. Yeah, these are for a certain type of people, aren't they?
But it's space truckers, man.
So,
and again, just give us the option to make it more arcadey and fun.
Have you? What do you think, Chinny? Because you've not said a lot so far. So, what's your opinion?
I don't say like anything.
Yeah, but you spent so much time playing it, I'm sure. So.
Yeah.
No, I did play. Not loads, but I did play. I did a couple of drops, and I liked. I appreciated it. And I quite like all the faffy stuff. You know, all the my air filter's fucked. I need to get one of these, and I quite like all that stuff. I don't know what that says about me. But yeah, it was. I did exactly the same as you, Duke. I came in at an angle at one of the cargo things, and I couldn't sort of pick it up or drop it off or whatever, and I had to sort of like go forward and back up, and yeah, that was a bit of a faff. but I do. I do like this idea of that. It's like, you know, it's a very sort of zen game. You know, you're trucking, you're getting things. Oh, you might got a little problem here. Oh, well, you know, it's just a different vibe to the type of games that I play, and I appreciate it. I respect it, but I don't think it's something that I'm going to invest a lot of time in because I don't have a lot of time. So it'd be difficult for me to justify playing this, even though I don't think it's bad. I think it's very pretty as well and cool. And
oh yeah, aesthetically it's great.
Yeah, I like
mean,
the
it
aesthetics.
looks
I like
brilliant.
the vibe. I like the talking to the other truckers and stuff. That was all fun. So, and I like you know, releasing the handbrake. You know, all the cargo manually. Like you do that yourself, and you go into warp speed.
And when you get the approval to go through the Stargate,
I love all that stuff. I think
flip the
that's good.
switch, and
And even like
it's aesthetically satisfying, like a Far Cry game, to have your arm reach out and like.
And the back,
rather than your ship just
the
doing
backing up of like the target, you know, you've got like a little monitor that looks at the back, and you have to sort of line it up. That makes me feel like I'm on like Apollo. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to line up the pods.
And I love the fact it's a circle. You got to match within the circle. And again, like I was doing it, except it was at an angle, so it was like, no, not good enough. I'm like, so I think if they had like a super easy mode for those things where you didn't have to mess with your batteries, or when you fuel up, it just automatically recharges your batteries. That would solve that problem for me. And then, just make it a lot, more forgiving in terms of when you back up into stuff. I would be all over this game if they had those two. Maybe somebody make a mod or something.
Interesting to play the hardcore mode, wouldn't it?
No, it wouldn't.
What's
It'd be
interesting to
awful.
you is not interesting to me.
Yeah, it would be
Just to
awful.
see what it's like, but
I'd be curious to see how well it would work out.
I think I don't know whether to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down here.
I'm a bit the same. I'm a bit of it in the middle.
I don't allow middles. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not a definite thumbs
Take a
down.
side. We're at
is
war
it?
here, man.
Well, for
I've
me,
got-
okay, for me personally, it's a thumbs down. Then, if I'm going to pick one,
Wow.
because
See,
I like the game, but I'm not going to play it anymore. So that for me is a thumbs down. I'm not going to play. I'm not going to continue with it.
I'm gonna go a very reluctant thumbs up for all the positive stuff. You know what I mean? Even though there is
I
some
like it.
negative
Yeah,
stuff.
I like it.
I think we all have either a thumbs down with a lot of qualifications or thumbs up with a lot of but we're still not going to play it.
Yeah.
So there's, it's going to be one or the other.
This is
And
for
for
a
me, it's-
certain type of person, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if they were to give us those two easy options, as I mentioned before, then I would definitely give it a thumbs up. But for now, it's a thumbs down for me.
Yeah. If we had a neither agree nor disagree option in our thumbs up or thumbs down, it would be that one.
I don't know. I don't make the rules, but
I know,
I actually
I
did.
know.
I actually did make the
We
rules.
did. We
just
could
made the
totally
rules.
make
You
the
just
rules.
made
Our
the rules.
podcast. We can make them anything we want.
Yeah, but as I said, I don't make the rules. So what can you do?
You don't make the rules? You don't make the rules.
As you say, Stu, just saying.
Just saying. Duke, anything else from you?
A little more Starfield, a lot more Rocket League. I got my 10 games in Diamond. So whatever the season ends, I'm going to get the Diamond reward. And it's going to be shit. And who cares? But it means so much to get those 10 wins because it means yes, I belong in the Diamond level. That is my rank. Because I was in Plat 1 for a while. So the fact that I'm back to Diamond is, oh, thank God. So that's not
before I just talk about my last game, whilst we're on Play My Game, bitch, I have a suggestion for next week, and I can't understand why we've never played this.
Go on.
Until now. But there's a game on Game Pass called Open Roads.
Okay,
which is literally 2 hours long, so it's a very short experience.
What kind of game is it?
It's fully voice acted.
I don't like this. I don't know where this is going.
No, you're gonna no.
No,
just
because you
bear
said
with
fully
me.
voice acted. That means it's going to be one of these narrative
That's a
games.
big selling point.
Yeah.
Bear with me.
No, I
Bear
think I'm
with
right.
me.
I think I'm right. I can see in his
Just
face. I
Go
can see
ahead.
in his
I'm
face.
listening. Shut up, Shinny. Go ahead, Stu.
Bear with me.
Unless he says the word snooker soon, I ain't going to be interested.
It's a driving game where you go into.
Be quiet, Chinny.
You're going to find out some stuff. Okay.
Thumbs going down.
It comes,
Go ahead. Keep telling us things. You're
it's
finding out some
developed-
stuff.
It's developed by part of the team from Fulbright Studios who made
made
Gone
what?
Home.
Oh.
Still going
do
down.
like Gone Home.
Still going down.
So they made Gone Home.
No,
so
I'm willing to go along with that.
No.
I think it's
Gone
worth
Home is
a
one of the best
try.
walking simulators ever.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, you're outvoted,
what I,
Chinny.
what I
You're
did there,
outvoted, Chinny.
Stu, is I
You could pick something for the following week.
what I did there, Stu, is I guessed exactly where you were going,
and you were right.
And you tried to manipulate it in a way that
I had a trump card there. I had a trump card.
The trump
Yeah,
card
you did.
is Gone Home, where Gone Home was a first of its kind. I liked it when I first played
That's
it,
true.
but they're all boring to me now. And I think Gone Home, I don't think that really sort of captures me in the same way anymore. So
Well, maybe this will be the one that does.
If Gone Home was the only like boring walking simulator thing that ever came out and no one ever made one again, I would continue to say, "Oh, that was a good game." But now they're all doing it, so no, it's
Look, just have an open mind.
no.
This is
Just-
Chinny you're talking to.
Have a go.
I will have a go.
Okay.
I can do that for you, Stu.
Do that.
I can
open
do that.
mind. Open mind.
No. I didn't say open mind. I can have a go.
Mines should be like
Okay, have a go.
parachutes. They work best when they're open.
No,
Yeah,
mine should be
yeah.
like parachutes. They eventually land on the ground and they're deemed useless. And
But not if you're a bird.
No, you're a bird.
Stu,
Let's be like the bird.
Look, I won't keep an open mind, but I definitely will download it, play it, and and tell you what I think of it.
Okay.
Is this on Game Pass?
It is.
And
What's
it's
it
called
called?
what?
What's it called?
Open Roads.
Open Roads. All right, people, you heard him. Let's play it.
Open
Okay,
Roads.
Stu, you got one more game to talk about, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I've played this week is Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster Edition.
Right.
And I'm just still plowing away on it, really. I've not fought any more bosses yet, so I haven't done any more boss fights. And I've just, it was weird today, right? Do you remember? I don't know. You've never played this, have you, Duke? I don't think. Did you ever play Dead Rising originally? No.
Nope.
Chinny may remember this. You come across two Japanese tourists in
two women, don't they? Yeah.
No, it's a bloke and a woman, I think.
Oh, is it? Sorry. Okay.
Japan. And when I first met, I'm like, I can't talk to them. They're just speaking in Japanese. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'd forgotten. And today at work, for whatever reason, you know when you do that thing where you're just thinking about something?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about Dead Rising, and I suddenly remembered there's a Japanese translation book in the bookshop, I think, that you have to find. And obviously, once you put the book in your inventory, you can understand what they're saying, and you can guide them back to the safe house. And I'm like, oh, that's what I need to do. But the problem now is I've gone off to do other stuff. And no doubt, by the time I get back to them, they'll probably be dead. They'll probably have died.
They'll definitely be dead.
In the time
Seems
that
likely.
and it pisses me off because I'm just like, fuck me, why didn't I remember that whilst I was playing it? Why did I only
Pissing me off.
because I killed Coco the fucking chainsaw clown, no problems, eventually.
Yeah.
And at that point, if I'd have remembered about finding the book, I could have actually got them out of there and saved them because there's a bloody shortcut to the safe house from where you are. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ almighty. So
Yes.
so that's annoyed me now. And now I'm like, shall I go back to a previous save before I go back to the safe house? Because you've got to continue the main story arc as well. Because weirdly in this game, even the main story quest runs out. If you don't get back in time for a certain bit of it, that's done. And you can't carry on with the main story quest.
Love it.
It's a brutal game.
It's so unique.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, what other game can you play where the main story quest becomes unavailable if you don't do something?
Crazy.
It is crazy. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. And like I said, they've done such a good job of the remaster and they have made it slightly more accessible. So it's not quite as difficult as the original version. So I do like that. So I'm debating. I'm constantly going back to previous saves to do stuff because I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't do that. Should have done that.
Yeah.
Just to try and save people and whatnot. So yeah, still loving it. Got the chainsaw, which is a handy weapon to have, especially for boss fights, etc. So
Sure.
yeah, and Lewis gave me a tip. I didn't mention this last week when we played nerdy board games last week again. And he gave me a tip. He said, for the convicts there's a garage with a car in. If you get in the car, you just keep crashing into them, and that kills them eventually.
Nice.
And makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to do that to get rid of those twats who then reappear at some point.
Fuck off, twats.
Yeah. So yeah, still enjoying it. Still think it's great. And I am gonna finish it. So I'm gonna try. This week we've still had this last week we've had all the fucking bathroom shit still going on. So I just haven't had that much time to play games. I've been tied up doing other stuff. So this week coming, I'm going to make a concerted effort to get some stuff.
Tied up in the bathroom.
Tied up in the pretty much. That sounds like something else, but there you go.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So, let's. Are we moving
all the
on?
games, people.
Yeah, moving on.
Is there news?
Not really. I don't think. Have you got anything?
Are there emails?
We have got lots of emails.
Chinny, any news?
I can't think of any. So.
Okay, email time.
Whoa, that ruled.
Okay. So the first email this evening is from Gary Walker Jones. Gary Walker Jones. I do it.
What up, Gary?
Hello,
It's
Gary.
very posh.
Very
I don't think he is posh, but his name just sounds posh, doesn't
Hi,
it?
Gary Walker Jones,
Yes,
businessman,
Gary Walker
entrepreneur,
Jones.
Gary, yes.
investor.
Maybe you could talk to my solicitor. for me.
Yes. I got my
Maybe
Well,
maybe I am a
16
solicitor.
pounds of
Maybe
the-
I'm a solicitor.
Maybe your mom's a
16 pounds of
solicitor,
the
I don't know.
caviar. You get the kid gloves
Yeah,
polished.
I just think
leather
anyone with a
workers.
double barrel name is posh. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Ought to be.
Because you're northern.
It's because I'm northern.
Anybody who has an indoor toilet is so posh.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you need an extra name? That's what I
Why
always
do you
wanna
have
know.
those dirty indoor toilets?
Yeah, why do you have a Anyway, he says, "Boo, winter is coming."
Yeah.
That no longer sounds posh.
No.
I can't imagine a posh
Sounds like he
person. ever
defends
going,
the,
"Blah, blah, blah."
sounds like he defends the wall.
He goes, bloody hell, you could free Snickers off a vicar's wife. That's what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Right.
And 3 social classes here.
Yeah, it is. He says, "Good evening, Benders." You see, he doesn't sound
No,
posh at all
no.
now, does he?
Well, good evening, Benders.
Yeah, I don't think it works. I don't think it works.
Right.
I hope all is good with you and all this
Good
fine
evening. Did he actually
Sunday.
say good evening, Benders? Is that what he
Yeah, no,
said?
that's not just me making this shit.
weird cat.
I haven't
Like,
heard
I got
that.
your
good
Bender
evening,
right here.
Benders.
I haven't heard
I feel
that.
like
Yeah.
maybe he's one of the cast of the In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is today's hectic lifestyle making you tense and impatient?
Shut up and get to the point.
That would like saying good if he was like a from Western Supermare or Bristol. It's like good evening, Benders, like that.
Yeah, I like that. He says it's been a long time since a mail has come from these fingers to your sunny shores.
Yeah.
So many changes, moved countries, now back in Germany. So he lives in
Oh
Germany.
my goodness. I don't have a sound effect for Germany. You gotta send us something in.
And getting hankered down for winter to arrive. Winter is the main gaming season for this household. And the
Okay.
lineup this year is as follows.
Skiing.
Is this-
Oh, he's going upper class if you say skiing. He's going upper class.
Astrobot,
Right.
What?
Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh, he's talking about gaming.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah,
not
he
skiing.
is.
Right.
Gaming game.
Astrobot, yeah. Assassin's Creed. Mirage.
Shapes 2
Don't know what. that
Oh
is.
yeah, that's a pretty good game. I played the demo.
and
nice.
the Talos Principle 2.
No.
Yeah, I
boring.
played the demo for that too. Also good.
Now I'm trying to work this out because he says we are about 75% through Astrobot and loving it. So is he playing this with his partner, his kids? Who's he playing
Maybe with
this
his
with?
kids.
He might
Those
be
kids,
playing
I don't
with
know.
like a random stranger from a bus stop.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, you want to come home and play
Hey, what do you
games?
think of Astrobot?
Yeah. Oh, you homeless person, come with
You
me.
should get that cough
I'll
checked
give you
out.
a roof over your head, but only if you'll play video games.
What did you
with me.
say? I mean, very good game. All right.
Yeah. It's always
Being
special.
a stingy stew myself, I like that man after my own heart there.
Yeah.
I don't tend to buy full price games and prefer being a patient gamer, but must say this game is worth every penny.
Everybody says it's
Sorry, which
good.
game is he talking about?
Every
Astrobot,
penny.
Astrobot.
Astrobot.
Astrobot. I know nothing about
It's a
Astrobot.
PlayStation 5 exclusive.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, fuck.
A platformer with lots of different mechanics, looks and sounds superb, and with the dual sense integrations makes it even better.
It'll be on Steam in 6 months. I'm not
No,
worried.
it won't. Probably not, because it's all based on the console. So no.
So what? So is Ratchet and Clank, and that's on Steam.
And also, there's been
God of
two-
War,
There's been
Horizon
other-
Zero Dawn. Should I keep going?
Shall I keep going? Right. So
No.
there's been other Astrobot games that are still not yet to be gone to PC because they're console centric. They're based on the
I don't
history of the
know.
console, not
I
the
don't
PC.
know. We got Super Mario Brothers on. No, we don't.
For travel, I'm playing Super Mario Eclipse on the deck. Now, I'm assuming
Okay.
this is a dodgy deck or a dodgy something going
Steam
on here.
Deck.
Because I don't think Super Mario games are on Steam Deck, Nate.
Or maybe he's playing outside on his deck, playing on the Twitch.
Maybe.
Or the Switch.
Maybe.
Not everybody's involved in criminal activity. He probably is, though.
If you don't know, it's an extended version of Sunshine and well worth your time before Nintendo pulls it. I can also recommend Shapes 2 to do.
Yeah.
I'm 10
I
hours
played the
in and
demo.
getting to grips with mechanics. Doesn't work well enough for me on the deck to play. So.
Yeah, see, the problem with Shapes 2 that I had was it was hard to tell exactly what needed to be on top of other things. So I hope that maybe it was just one thing that I needed to build that was unclear like that. But I see it in the Steam sale, the Steam, it'll be on 20% off or whatever here and there. And I'm like, I should get that because I enjoyed it. One of these days, maybe.
There you go. Doesn't work well enough for me on deck to play. Talos Principle is also a great puzzler and expands on the original in its scope and delivery.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and I didn't get too frustrated with the gameplay of Talos Principle 2 demo. Talos Principle 1, the problem for me was there were certain puzzles where like you had to walk through all this stuff and set up a little mirror to bounce a laser off of something and then get it right between these two windows or whatever. And then you had to go back around and then, it was a pixel off and then you had to go back around.
Yeah, I
and
remember you
adjust it.
talking about
So,
micro
so I hope that the second one is better in that regard.
Anyway, he goes, ooh. Can I just thank Brian on Facebook group for sorting me out with last week's podcast download? Going to save that for this week's episodes for Tuesday as driving to Milan. So if you make this episode a 5-hour one, I'd appreciate it to last the whole journey.
Well, just for you, I'm going to
Just
count to
for you.
500 now. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay,
Are they going
enough.
to give up or am I going to give?
No,
you go first.
I was gonna. You know what? I was committed to about 4,000 there.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, he says, ooh, he's got another ooh.
What is this show about?
Ooh.
Ooh. It's about ooh. What part of ooh don't you understand?
Yeah, what part of ooh do you not get? I'm only reading what he's written.
You're
Read
not.
what he's written. Ooh. Read it again.
Ooh.
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 Poor
I
Chin.
think I'm having a stroke.
Ooh, a stroke. All right.
Ooh, a stroke.
Ooh.
Ooh, can I have a stroke too? Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
I can't stop doing it now.
I've
It's a
noticed.
fun sound.
I've noticed.
Ooh. Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, did an upgrade.
De La Soul had a
I'm
song.
trying, no,
Ooh,
you stopped me then. I was going to carry on
Yep.
then.
Sorry.
Here we go.
Just
Here we
read
go.
it without the ooh, please.
All you've got to do is to start the sentence. Ooh.
You don't want to. You can't edit while you read. You got to
No,
read what's
okay.
on the page.
I'm just
Ooh.
reading it. Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay.
We broke Stu.
Ooh did an upgrade to the VR.
Or
to
should
the
I say
Quest
we broke
3.
Stu?
Look, I've just got to pass it, right? I'm not
I know,
doing it
I know,
again.
I know. All right.
To the Quest 3, and it's a huge jump from the Quest 2 in terms of the visuals and performance. The Fly app, Google Earth, works really well. I talked about this the other week, didn't I? Yeah, it's pretty
Yes,
good.
you did.
In it without any stuttering, and Walkabout Mini Golf is still waiting a rematch. Oh, Walkabout, so good, isn't it? Still my favorite game.
Yes.
It was fun.
Oh, so good.
So anyway, here's a question for you guys.
Okay.
When you are on long car journeys alone, what do you listen to? Music, podcasts, audiobooks? If podcasts other than gaming, what are your recommendations?
So I've been addicted to 2 podcasts lately. Well, there's several. I like the Flophouse. They watch a bad movie and then they talk about it. They're very funny guys. I've been listening to A Little Bit Culty because I love finding out about cults. I'm just fascinated by cults and culty dynamics.
Love cults.
Yeah.
Cults are
and
brilliant.
Love cults.
Are you being sarcastic or do you
No,
actually
no,
interested?
no.
You know,
I genuinely like any documentary about a
it's-
cult.
Yeah.
It's intriguing.
I'd love to be in a cult.
There's one on Netflix about the TikTok cult. The dancing is so weird. Anyway,
League
and
of,
the other one that
League
I've
of
been-
Legends. There's a cult for you.
There's a cult
Yeah,
for
sure.
you. League of Legends.
there's Mythic Dawn, man, Skyrim. There's a podcast called Blocks. Neil Brennan did a Netflix special called Blocks where he talked about the things that make him feel alone and like he doesn't fit into the world. And so now he has a podcast. Jimmy Carr convinced him to start a podcast where he interviews other comedians about that. And he's talked to everybody. He talked to Jerry Seinfeld. He talked to Trevor Noah. Talked to Jimmy Carr. And it's just really interesting to hear all these different comedians talk about their lives and stuff they've been through. And it's just fascinating. So, and it's usually pretty funny. So yeah, I like those three.
Okay. Well, I obviously like The Infinite Monkey Cage. I still listen to, so I listen to that.
Yeah.
And weirdly, the only other podcast I listen to some on a very seldom occasion, but the other one I listen to fairly regularly is called Off the Record, which is a DJ podcast.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. It's kind of cool, and these are all DJs who played big gigs and stuff like that. They just talk stuff. They just talk about stuff. So that's kind of interesting. And then the other one I used to listen to, and I became reacquainted with recently when I was watching the end of Better Call Saul, which is a group. I guess they have a channel with all different things on called Bald Move, and they basically watch TV shows and then dissect them and give their opinions on it.
Cool.
And I've always found these really interesting because they give like sometimes a different take, or they'll spot things I didn't. And especially with stuff like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, there's so much stuff going on that you miss. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of cool that these guys pick up on all those details and talk about them. But oh god, it was painful listening to they called it Better Cast Saul is what they called it, Better Cast Saul. And
see what they did there.
Yeah, they used to be sponsored by Audible or whoever, and they'd have like little Audible advert for 10 seconds at the beginning, and you might have another one in the middle of the show, and that was kind of it. And I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. But now they've started up their own recommendations like website where they recommend products that you should invest your money in, right?
Yeah.
And they also do their own coffee beans. For some god knows.
So they're hawking that shit for 20 minutes each episode.
For ages. I mean, it's fucking ages. It's like an advert on right at the start of the show for... It must be 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes. It's fucking... It feels like forever.
Most podcasts...
And you know what bugs me?
Most
a lot of podcasts do have that. And the thing that bugs me, though, is if you can't tell when it's an ad versus when it's the show. Because if you're doing an ad and I can fast forward, like A Little Bit Culty always does exactly... Play music, or they always do exactly like 2 minutes of a thing. So I have the fast forward thing on my car. It'll do 30 seconds at a time. So if I hit that 4 times, I'll get right to the part where they go, all right, enough with the ads. Let's get back to the show.
I just appreciate the ones with music on because I can just skip them.
Of course.
Right. Oh, honestly, awful. So I'll be honest, if I'm watching a TV show that they're covering now, I'll be reluctant because I'm not subscribing and paying 10 quid a month just so I don't have to listen to adverts or whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I'm very reluctant now to listen to anything else they do after that happened.
Not everybody's as cool as us having no ads.
I'd had enough. I'd literally like this. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I put up with it just for Better Cast Saul, but other than that, I was done. I'm not. I don't
know about y'all, but YouTube is doing my head in, man. We watch the Daily Show, and like in the middle of a joke, he'll be like, "The thing I've ad." Like, motherfucker, wait until there's a fucking break in the. Yeah, it's frustrating. Jenny?
And Amazon are doing it now, middle of a film.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
What? Fuck off. I'm paying for this already.
Yeah, exactly.
So
any podcast recommendations?
Did they say gaming or non-gaming?
It's not bothered.
He said
just in general.
Not bothered. Yeah. Oh right.
Not bothered.
Obviously, the Veteran Gamers is in.
He said he podcasts other than gaming. What are you recommending?
And by the way, shout out to Marcanix because he's playing Throne and Liberty 2, and I was like, "How do you like it?" He's like, "I'm loving it." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, right, dude."
I'll answer his other question. I do listen to audiobooks a lot in the car.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time listening to audiobooks.
Yeah.
So Chinny, other podcasts.
I've listened to this podcast since 2007. It's still going. It's called Game Scoop. It's a very popular one on IGN. I like the DLC podcast. That's people that they used to be One Up, like, or some of them used to be
I like One Up. I used
back
to really
in the
like
day. Not all of them, but some of them. Then there's one called the Nextlander podcast. That's a gaming one, but it used to be Giant Bomb People. It's the old Giant Bomb People.
Do you know, I used to find Giant Bomb used to just go on forever.
No, I like them, but like the old ones when they all started to change.
No, we're
and
not
they-
like that.
The new ones, I was like, I don't know. Well, the main, I don't know what the main guys of the new Giant Bomb stuff is now, but he said something that was so offensive to me that I just switched off and unsubscribed immediately. And he said,
Wow.
I hate Wallace and Gromit. And I just went, okay,
Oh shit.
I'm done. I can't relate to this guy.
Well,
I
you know,
can't-
we had someone who
Wow.
did that when you said that you don't like Monty Python, Shinny. So you know.
Well,
Yeah, you
good.
did.
Yeah, because, well, I don't care because it is awful. Monty Python's awful. So
Wow.
I
How
mean,
much evil in the world?
I listened to some snooker ones.
You're gonna infect Rosa with that bullshit.
I
Yeah,
listened
yeah.
to
That's the worst part, man. You're innocent child.
some snooker
Yeah, well,
podcasts.
not like Monty Python.
Snooker podcast, right? Sorry.
I
go on.
won't go into the snooker podcast. They're just snooker.
Oh
podcasts.
man, but the two of our listeners are just dying to know.
Okay,
Just
Yeah,
quick
they
say the
Fine.
titles.
There's one called 147 Podcast with Sean Murphy and Philip.
Okay.
Something.
Listen to that one.
And there's
Yeah, listen to that. That's
snooker
such a good
scene and then
podcast.
talking snooker. Crime podcast, criminal.
Or are there 3 snooker podcasts?
No, there's more than 3 snooker podcasts.
well, I'm sure there
What,
are.
that you
I'm just-
listen to?
No.
No, but there's a lot out there to choose from.
I listen to 10 different snooker podcasts, all of you know.
This one talks about balls going in the holes. The other one talks
Yeah.
about holes where the balls go in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chinny, go on.
It's all right. It's make fun. It's fine.
And the stick, yeah, this is a stick. It's
Yeah,
called a
not like
cue.
this cult.
is what you
People
hit
gave all
it
their
with.
money to the dude, and this other cult, people got money and they
Yeah.
gave it to the guy.
I listen
Yeah.
to Criminal. Criminal's one of my favorite podcasts. That's just about different random crimes, and you hear all sorts. For example, one story about a guy who, when he was 15, he got a gun and he just shot someone for no reason in Harlem. And then
Oh,
36 years later, he was so riddled with guilt for the whole of his life that he
Wow.
walked into a police station and confessed to
Oh my
it.
goodness.
And the police laughed at him
Wow.
and said whatever. And then he went back because he couldn't live anymore with this guilt.
Huh.
And he went back
That's
and he,
crazy.
and they eventually said, "Oh, actually, I think this lines up." And then just 3 weeks ago, he's been in jail for 15 years now. And then 3
my
weeks ago, he
goodness.
got released because it was such an unusual
Wow.
case. So
That's
and he sounds like a really nice guy. And he was a rapper as well. He was quite.
Yeah,
a
it's so
successful rapper.
nice because he shot someone
But
in the face.
he was 15. He was young. He just didn't really think about
And
it.
each of us has done things we're not proud
And-
of.
and-
and
I
we're-
haven't shot
we're
someone
more
in the
than the
face,
worst
can
thing
I
you've
say?
ever done.
He no, but he didn't know that he killed him. Like he shot him just to rob him because he went for him. He just wanted to.
Oh,
rob
that
him.
makes it all right
no,
then.
no. And then
I'm not saying it makes it all right.
He shot him, but he didn't know if he died. And since that day, he thought he was just going to get arrested. He just thought, right, I'm just going to get arrested here. But when he got away with it, he said he couldn't live, he couldn't breathe.
It's
he
the
couldn't
getting away
eat,
with part
he
I
cou-
couldn't
he
live
couldn't,
with.
He couldn't eat.
Quiz
He
show.
couldn't. He got married and he had kids, and he says, I just can't be happy. And he said every
See,
day
that
was
proves that your
torture.
conscience will catch up with you.
Yeah.
man.
Not me. No, I've killed several
Macbeth,
people.
Banquo, man.
I've killed
Yeah.
several people. So
Yeah,
I
just
don't-
got
Which one
away
of you
with
have
it.
done this? You can't say that I have done this.
Yeah, so that's loads of interesting crime stories on there, and I listened to another one called A Hidden Brain, which is about different things. So there.
Cool.
Nice.
There
Very
you go.
good.
Lots of stuff for you to listen to.
So there you go. Anyway,
Ooh, there's some podcasts for you.
he says, by the way, the email address
Oh,
on
God,
the
it's
About
still
Us
not
on
over.
VG on the Facebook page is still showing as the old one.
Oh, you're lucky we even have a contact on
Yeah,
there.
of course it is. I'll sort that out.
Wait till you hear the story about the podcast feed.
I'll update it. The VT webpage is throwing up a WordPress error, so no email address there. And thanks
we
you.
know.
Thanks you for
One
the
of these
email
days we're gonna
address
make it a landing
on the
page.
Discord. You're welcome. Much love.
Yep.
Gary of the Walker Joneses. Also, guys, if you want any help with the webpage or anything techie, it's been my job for the last 30 years.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
be-
Well, yeah, go figure out what happened with Podbean. There's
Yeah.
something you could do for
No,
us.
no.
Yeah,
Do the
it's
website.
fine.
Do the website for free.
And do the
you-
website.
Just do it. It's fine.
Over.
It'll be in
and-
German though.
That's
I-
fine. I'll take it.
Do you know what the worst thing? You
Achtung,
know what the
der
worst thing?
Veteran Gamers.
You know what the worst thing about the web page is?
Yeah.
I kept getting.
That it's inaccessible.
No, I kept telling you both
That it
right,
leads
we
to
were
us?
getting that we were getting hack attack emails. I was getting emails from it saying someone's trying to hack your website, someone's trying to hack your website, someone's
Yeah.
trying to hack your web. And Duke was like, "No, just ignore him. It's fine. It's fine." Oh, it's gone.
Well, what can you do?
Well, no, I don't. Okay, I don't know. But I don't remember the hack your website things. But I know that the WordPress has something broke in it. It's saying with my personal website, I can't get to my blog that I kept for like 10 years. So there's something that has to be done behind the scenes, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Who
we'll
cares?
fix it at some point.
Anyway,
It's
right,
not
moving
causing
on.
us problems.
Moving on, we have
Moving on.
got an email from favorite person, Jason Goller. But before we do that, he sent another email at the start of the show, and he simply says Bert, and he's referring to obviously Bert from Podbean.
I guess so.
And he's attached a hand-drawn picture that he presumably did himself of a man stood on a set of ladders shitting into a toilet below.
All right. You had me at shitting on a ladder.
So there you go. Thank you, Jason.
There you go. Thank you,
for that.
Jason. We love you.
Yeah.
You weirdo.
But he has sent us an email. He says, I have dreams with strangers. Weird.
Okay.
Do you know how weird is it he said this?
Not really.
Because
why would it be weird?
Because
you also had a dream.
I know. I was told we were talking today about dreams and how your vision works and like all the weird stuff your brain does. And someone at work said it's impossible to dream about someone you've never met. Because your brain only ever, like in your dreams, it's only ever people. It can be just something like a random stranger you passed in the street, but your brain logs it and remembers it.
How would you be able to test that?
I don't know, but they say
Yeah,
even if you think
That just
you've
sounds
never
like
met
somebody
someone in your
slightly
dream-
smart said. That sounded smart.
Well, and it's the question is how do you prove it? And I don't know there is a way to
can't
prove
prove
that.
it. It's madness.
I mean, it's an
like the
interesting
idea
idea.
Yeah, I
It's
like the idea.
possible. I don't know. I'm
Anyway.
skeptical because I'm a skeptical person.
If I had time to share my dreams, I would. However, there are glimpses which feel nicked from my mind only when they're not, probably. Here are recent examples. First, to avoid ruminating or to archive fun times, I often read or write or indulge in video games. This often leads to failure, yet the progress can be just as overwhelming. Last week, I read Piranesi for the second time this month, a book only the gifted would understand.
He read that same book twice?
I have no idea.
Because he was talking about this author.
Piranesi.
Go ahead.
Piranesi.
Yeah,
Piranesi. A book only the gifted will understand. I fell asleep and the dreams that came were written down immediately upon waking, flashing visions, a wild story. It was pure bliss. Wow, this is very descriptive, isn't it? I like this. A book that causes dreams.
The writer.
I then checked the time on my shiny device. A game trailer began to play. It carries the weight of the past and lunges it up through the clouds. Looking down, I solved the puzzle. Has Chinny fallen asleep yet? I believe I have found something special. Point and click through a desert oasis, home to a mysterious community. Explore lush ruins, meet a rich cast of characters. Reveal the truth about the place, the myths, and ultimately, yourself. Now you may have your favourites for the year figured out, but on October 7th, I highly suggest investing in Phoenix Springs. There are some games I love more than the rest. I have a deep need for the ones that are part of our world, among others. That gives me something that feels like what happens when I fall asleep, then wake up suddenly while the dream plays. I remember everything. I enjoyed taking to the sky in John Blow's The Witness, because I often watch the clouds above Texas. I paint them. I film the movements. I've searched for faces. I solve mysteries. Maybe that is strange to you. Good. It's just something I do sometimes because I'm not you. I hear that Duke holds Mist dear to his heart. If any one of you are near to the weird, please play Phoenix Springs on Steam. Try The Witness. Maybe think about Mist. Read Piranesi. Look up at the clouds and remember your dreams. You aren't getting any younger. Don't be a statue. Wake up, Chinny. You already know the end. Phoenix Springs, Steam and Mac. There you go, Jason.
Gross.
Stop giving us orders and telling us what to do, man.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. That's very nice of you.
I've got to say, that's the most passionate email.
It's
I
a
think
very
he's ever
passionate
sent.
email, and it's a very creative, vivid description. I like it.
Did you like the way I read it? I thought I did quite well there.
Yes, it
You
was
don't
good.
get praise for reading
Oh,
it.
come on. Give me
No.
praise. I think I did a
No.
good job. I think I did a good job. Okay, we have got kind of like two speak pipes, but one of them's two audio.
By the way, sorry, just to pick up on what you said, Stu, I went looking for information online about dreaming about people you've never met. There's all these Quora and Reddit threads and all this shit that's not actual helpful. People asking questions about it. But there's an article from Women's Health, which is a fairly reputable publication in the United States. And it says, there's an old belief that you can only dream about people you know, but that's untrue. Not only can people you've never met appear in your dreams, but often it's not as innocuous as it may seem. And they talk to this sleep expert who says, when we dream about people we've never met, they could be a placeholder for someone we do not want to see for whatever reason, end quote. But these strangers could also be a manifestation of a part of ourselves that's not yet known or familiar. So according to at least this one sleep expert in a reliable source, you can dream about people you've never met.
See, I like the idea, though. It might be someone you've seen, but you didn't really meet them. You know, just someone you've seen in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, but if it's Beyonce, like, I never met Beyonce.
No, but you know what she looks like.
Oh,
so you're brave.
So you can't dream about someone you don't know what they look like.
Yeah,
no, that's fine. I
no.
mean, it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, you couldn't ever
it's
test
like
that.
you know of or seen, you know what I mean? Because
Know
obviously,
of.
if it's a random stranger you passed in the street, you wouldn't remember them.
Right.
Like,
right.
it's consciously, but subconsciously, you might.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
There's, again,
I like
no way to
that
know
idea,
for
though.
sure.
No way to know, but that's
That's
what
fine.
I like.
That's
I
fine.
like that idea.
Yes. Okay. So we got a speak pipe and we got some sound clips. Am I starting with Tainted Brain?
Yeah, you can do.
Okay. These are not from the BBC website, although thanks again, Brain, for that.
No,
these
hate
guys
you.
loved them. No,
We
they
hate
had
you
snooker
now.
sounds. Yeah. So anyway, here's the first sound clip from Tainted Brain.
Hey guys, it's Brian in Japan.
Yay.
I haven't a clue what's going on over there. I've just come out of Pachinko.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I was wondering if you have any advice for somebody going to a game show. I'm going to Tokyo Game Show this Sunday. Last year it was brilliant, but I only got to see half the show, so I'd like to be more organised. Unfortunately, by the time you do the show, it'll be too late.
I was
but
gonna
maybe
say.
I'll keep the advice for next year. All right. Hope all's well. See you. Bye.
I think he needs to give us advice for going to game shows because he's been to one more recently than us.
Do you know what's funny? When you first started playing that, I thought you were playing one of them stupid bikes.
You're not wrong to think that. Like
from
the
the
sign on my
BBC
classroom says,
archives.
I'm not cynical. I've been taking notes.
I was like, of course he's doing it. Of course that's what he's going to do. Okay,
Hey,
yeah.
I throw curveballs. So
I
any
don't know.
advice?
You see, when we went, most of the time we were just doing it to meet up with other people. So it kind of
Yeah,
we didn't,
forget the games. Hang out
we
with cool
kind
people.
of forgot the games and was more interested in just being social. Would you
Yeah.
agree, Chinny?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Would you ever go again?
I don't know. I'm quite happy to meet up with people just on a generally social setting.
I think
I'm
you
not
want to
that-
meet up with people at the arcade club. That's what I think you want to do.
Yeah, I do. No, I must admit, I'd rather do something like that than go to
The
like
gaming thing.
EGX again.
I don't know.
yeah.
It gives it a centre though, doesn't it? It gives
It
you.
does.
It gives
does
like
do
a
that.
thing to talk about and.
And
something to
I think you know
focus
what the
on.
trouble is, and this sounds like a really morbid thing to say,
Yeah.
but I just think of Gary. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
like
you know,
he was there last time we went, and it would just feel weird, you know. And I know that
Gary
he didn't-
would be sad if we didn't go.
I
Again.
know,
Yeah.
I know. You are right. You're right.
Yeah.
It came up in my memories the other day, and it was kind of sad just seeing
is
him
really
sat
sad.
there on the front row of the
Yeah.
the big picture, you know, was all there. and-
Sorry, people. I have to let you know. Yes, it loved to Gary. But meanwhile, the Duchess has a whole lot of onions. Look at all these onions.
Yeah.
She's
Good
got
So-
boxes and boxes of onions.
Can I just check, right? We were having like a sad moment talking about Gary.
Yes.
But
And
And
now
you're-
we're
she didn't
crying
know
because of the
that.
onions.
She didn't know.
She didn't
that.
know about
Have
that.
have you got ADHD, Duke?
No.
Just
No,
asking.
the Duchess
She
came by
in.
with a box of onions. I didn't want her to wander off without having a chance to share the onion harvest. You're welcome. Now, yes, but but because Gary was into random non sequiturs as well, so it was a way of
Okay.
showing love to Gary.
So, what was the original question again on the email? I forgot.
What advice do you
Oh,
have
the
for someone
What
going to?
advice
I
does
think
someone go to a gaming conference?
hand gel would be a good one.
Hand gel is a good shout.
Yeah,
I got a jar of it
but
right
I
here.
think, I think from what I know about TGS is that they're quite good at that stuff in Japan.
Yeah, they've all got masks on, haven't they?
About
still?
being hygienic and stuff like that. So it's in their culture already. But yeah, I think you just go in with half a plan. That's what I do on holidays as well, and that's what I did on EGX. Is like, I want to play this today, and I want to play this, and then I'm going to allow myself.
We used to do that a lot, didn't we?
I'm going to allow myself for what are you willing to queue up for like 1-2 hours, and then games that you're not willing to, and then just keep an open mind and also chance it as well, because if you walk around more, you might just see stuff. You go, the queue's not that bad for this. I'm just going to go on this.
Well, start. Look at something that's a bit different or unusual.
Take a good look around,
Yeah, and have a good look at especially things like talks or where they have like the people like game developers doing stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's
especially
all
if they're in
going-
an eating contest.
if that's all going to be in Japanese. No idea.
I have to admit, Stu, I do miss it a little bit. I do miss
I
it.
do. It was
I
something
do
to look
miss it.
forward to
Yeah,
every year.
no, I do
and,
miss it a little bit. Look, just because like I do like the idea of just meeting up at the arcade club and stuff, but I do like the sort of buzz of like, okay, we're at an EGX again, and like
we're in London.
We're in London. We're stopping over a little bit or whatever, and I do miss it. I do. Maybe next year. It's too late to do it this year. But maybe next year.
It's on in about a week, isn't it?
Yeah, but maybe next year, Stu. Hey, maybe we can go.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Mama.
All
He
right,
has sent
so-
a second one. What's that one?
Yes, he has, and here it comes, baby. 2 minutes 38
Hey
seconds.
guys, it's Brian in Japan again. I have now been to Tokyo Game Show.
Oh,
if you still have advice, I'd love it. The game show was over 12 halls, I believe, or maybe 13. The first 8 were AAA or big companies. I got to see Kojima-san give his speech, all in Japanese, which is probably what you'd expect in Japan, and him being Japanese.
How rude.
I couldn't understand any of it, being a gaijin. I got to play some Astrobot, which I really would love to get my hands on a copy of, but money's tight at the moment, and I'm trying to clear my backlog. Also played some of the upcoming follow-up to Gris, or Grease, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It looks really good. It looks really, really nice. The other, the last 9 to 12 or 13, they were all indies and absolutely amazing, full of great games. I'm looking forward to seeing some of them. But I've got 2 questions for you based off a game I'm playing at the moment, Plucky Squire. I thought originally it was a bit meh. It's actually growing on me. Some really interesting stuff happening in the game. But there's one section, and it's a section at the end that's really freaking me out. It's rhythm based, so you could basically working off beat. And I'm beat deaf. I cannot follow beat. Drum and bass is okay, but anything that's complicated, I lose track of the beat and I can't do it. So I end up taking off my headphones, trying to do it that way. I've now tried this section 30 times and I can't get past it. There's an option to skip the minigame, which I may end up taking. So I've got 2 questions for you based on that. Have you ever come across a minigame or a type of game that you can't do? I don't know, like whether anxiety kicks in if you're playing stealth games or whatever. Has that ever happened to you? And the other one is, have you ever, when you're getting freaked out of the game, take your headphones off just to try to concentrate more on the game? I find I do that quite a lot. I'm not sure if it's because of that. I'm not sure if I find music distracting. I don't know. Anyway, so either of those, have you ever had to take your headphones off to play a game just because you're finding it difficult, or do you find a mini game or a type of game action to be really difficult, exceptionally difficult? Okay, thank you. See you. Bye.
Yeah. I don't really game with headphones on. Like I have the speakers on my desk, and that's how I do audio that way.
Yeah, I mean, I have had this very thing happen. This very thing.
Do tell.
And It was at the end of a game that you're gonna be very derisive about.
Me?
People
I'm
are
never
saying,
derisive. What are you talking about?
Absolutely, you are. Which was Deadly Premonition.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And the final boss fight was a quick time event.
Uh-huh.
And you were running down these stairs or running up the stairs. I can't remember if it was running up or running down. And this monster's chasing you. And it was every time it attacked, you had to press a random button on your like joypad. Okay. And you had to do this about, it was a lot. It was probably heading for double figures amount of times to complete it. You had to do it all in one go. And if you missed one, it was insta-death.
The only negative thing about this game, I understand.
It was.
Everything else is just perfect.
Everything else was amazing, but because what happened was, every time you died, it randomized it. So every time you did this section of this final section of the game, it was, if you died, it was different prompts. And I was like, I got to the point where I probably tried to do it, easily past 20 goes.
Yeesh.
20 to 30 goes at trying to do this final.
And this is at the end of the game. You don't want to give up after you've played all this other stuff.
But I almost did. It was so close to going.
Yeah.
And I've never ever had this before. I almost had a controller throwing moment.
Wow.
Where I was just like,
ooh.
Ooh.
So I turned, this is the craziest thing. I turned it off. I'm like, right, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. Turn the game off. Following night.
Later.
No, following night, I left it for a day.
24 hours later.
I had to calm down.
Yeah.
I was like, right, let's give this another go.
Being too loud.
Second go, I did it. Second go.
Ah, man.
That's
always the way.
I genuinely didn't think I was going to finish the game, and I was so frustrated. I don't think I've ever been that frustrated.
Here's the thing. Like, it's rich for me to say this because the Duchess can tell you, and I'm having trouble with, annoying teammates in Rocket League or whatever. Like, I get really cranky. It's not worth it, man. Like, there's never been a game that I've beaten and I'm like, I'm so glad and that means something for me in a large scale sense. It's a fucking game, man. Who cares? My rank in Rocket League doesn't matter.
It is, but obviously I'd spent however many hours getting to that point.
Well, then we have the sunken cost fallacy here. You put time and money into something. This is why people stay in cults.
Time and effort.
You put time and money, and in this case, effort instead of money. But, you put time, and you're like, I don't want that time to have been for nothing. And so I'm going to put more good time after bad, or, good money after bad, or whatever. But I mean, I also get the idea of like wanting to finish a game. Like, I'm so close, I want to be done.
Yeah. So I did do it.
That's the nice thing about MMOs is that you never finish the game. So it's not an issue.
And Brian, my advice would be step away and then have another go. Just persist. Just persist, and you will get there eventually.
But if it's, especially if it's a mini game, like why does it matter? Just skip it.
Yeah, or skip it. Just stop wasting time.
Skip it.
We won't tell that you skipped it. It doesn't matter if people know. Like, I'll gladly tell my students, like, I turned it on easy mode. Who gives a shit?
It doesn't make you less of a man.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
well,
really,
it does.
It
does a little bit. It definitely does. It definitely does.
But that's the thing, is there's people who actually believe that like your masculinity is tied to what difficulty level or how many Dark Souls games you've beat. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, let's be honest.
Outside that discussion, if you go to someone and go, what does it mean? What's a real man? And they'll go, provide for your family, like be strong, like support others, help those who are in need. Those are the things people would say. But then when we get into the actual trenches of adult life, it becomes, you have a truck and you spit and you watch hockey or, whatever.
Of course, none of that stuff's true. Being a man is playing like video games on the hardcore difficulty. And beating them.
Yeah,
and,
never skipping a mini game, especially if it's rhythm.
Drinking beer until it comes out of your ears.
That's right.
And that's being a man. None of this namby
going down to the football club and slamming heads with people
exactly.
that support your team.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I'd just have another go, persist, and if that doesn't work, just give it up. Is probably the best advice. But thank you.
Chinny, any recommendations, Chinny? Beyond what we've said?
No, not really. I think you covered it.
Take that as a no. Okay, we got a speak pipe here.
From not Derek. It's not Derek.
Speak pipe. It's the way to leave a message for us.
You folks ain't from around here. As Bill Hicks said, when people showed up armed at UFO sightings, and it gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, you ain't from around here, are you, boy? All right, here's the speak pipe from St. Diesel.
Hey, Veteran Gamers, it's St. Diesel back again. I remember sending you a message just over 6 months ago about going to my niece's wedding in September, and I did that 3 Saturdays ago now, on the 21st of September. And a great day was had by all.
Yay.
And everything seemed to go off really well. But the question today is to do with the location, because it's in a place called the Bosk, which is B-O-S-K, in Northumberland, which is a very countrified county in England. And I live in the suburbs of Newcastle, fairly built up, I suppose. And I believe Stu and Chinny possibly live in similar areas. Where it's not countrified, but I'm not sure about Duke. I know he's on a farm these days, but I don't know how far out in the country it is. And on the way there was about an hour long journey on the way to the Bosk, and we passed through lots of little villages, lots of small cottages on the way, lots of farms. Basically, everything was countrified by the time we got there. We stayed for about 11 hours, I think, from about 11:15 in the morning till 10:15 in the evening. But question for you simply, do you have any yearning or any desire to go and live out in the country? And I always remember that scene in My Cousin Vinny where Joe Pesci couldn't sleep because he was out in the country, it was all quiet. So I'll leave it at that.
He goes out with the gun shooting at stuff. Sorry, I just got a text from my brother. I got to respond to him.
Do you want to live in the country, Stu?
I grew up in the country.
In the country.
So, I grew in the country. So I lived like the first 17, 18 years of my life in the countryside. Like we had 2 shops and 2 pubs, and that was it. And I had to get 2 buses to school, to the secondary school.
Everything's 2.
Everything was 2. I had 2 buses. And if it was particularly
2
cold,
mums, 2 dads,
or it snowed, the bus didn't turn up, so the bus never came.
The bus only had 2 wheels.
We had 3
and
buses.
They just went round. They didn't go round.
3 buses a day that left
3
the
buses
village.
a day? Was there an
3
error?
buses.
Was there an error in the thing?
There was 3 buses a day that went to Chorley, which was the nearest town, and we had 2 buses a day that went to Ormskirk, which was also fairly close. And that was it. That was where I lived all my life. And we used to go fishing. We used to go shooting.
With 2
hunting,
rods.
With 2 rods. And we had 2 rifles.
And there was only 2 fish in the pond.
And my mates had 2 ducks.
Well, there were 2 ponds.
And 2 dogs.
2 ponds, yeah. 4
and there were 2 ponds with 2 fish in them. And we used to go camping in the summer. And we used to go camping at the top of the field behind my house.
Ooh.
And that was my
no,
life.
you're not trying to live there again. Is what I get, the sense I get.
Not that I wouldn't hanker back to living in the countryside, but
simpler times.
Simpler times. If I could retire to anywhere in the country where I would retire, I'd probably pick Bamborough, which is beautiful, which is up on the Northumbria coastline, and it's got a really cool castle, and it's just a really lovely place with the sea next to it and everything, and a really lovely beach. And I do like the coastline. I must admit, I'm more into the coast than I am into the country. But that being said, I really like Knaresborough near York. That's a really lovely place, and I'd quite happily retire there. But it's a bit of a tourist trap, so it's going to be full of tourists all year. And the last weekend we went away for the weekend, we went to a place called Ilkley, which is also North Yorkshire. And that's a lovely place too. So I quite liked Ilkley. And I said to Kay, we were sat down by the river having our picnic, and I was like, I could quite easily live around here somewhere. So yeah, I'd like somewhere that's just nice. So yeah, I could see myself living somewhere like that again.
Yeah,
so
and then Kay said, maybe we should move. And you said, no, not living with you here, just on my own.
And I liked. I like Anglesey as well in Wales. That's a really nice place.
But apart from that, nowhere else.
No, nowhere else.
Yeah.
So what about you, Chidi? Could you see yourself in the? I mean, Duke lives in the country. To be fair,
I do.
No, it's too far away. I like being in places with a bit of needle. Do you know what I mean? Like I put it this way: when I went to San Francisco or New York or California or LA or whatever, and like I'm in a city, I'm fine. Like I'm fine. Like I like it when people are rude. Like I'm at home. Do you know what I mean?
No, you fucking don't. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't like it when people
that
are
just
rude.
made me warm and fuzzy. That did, Dick. All right.
Yeah.
When you're in London, everybody's like just rushing past you. I'm like, this is it. This is raw human emotion, right? This is what we all want to do.
This is real.
No, I'm quite happy in a sort of. I'm not. You've been to my house, Stu. I'm just on a.
I've been to your house.
I'm in a nice part of where I live. Put it that way, but yeah, it's not like in the sticks. It isn't far to get to the sticks where I am. It doesn't take. I mean, I could literally drive for like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe less than that, and I'm in the sticks. But yeah, it's I just like to be around stuff, shops, takeaways, people, cars, rudeness.
I remember those things.
Filth,
Yeah.
I just enjoy it. I in my 20s, I think I could have easily lived in like New York, and obviously I don't think I would want to live there forever, but I'd be really happy in a like a.
See, I've
big
never
city.
liked big cities. I've always been not happy with them. But I grew up in suburban, college towns.
Yeah.
So where we are now is the first time I've ever lived anywhere other than like a college town.
Yeah.
And so it's a new experience, and there's things I love about it. I mean, I love the fact that I don't have to worry about like the neighbors coming by or like having to deal with stuff with property lines and things like that. And
well, just don't have twatty neighbours then.
Well, that's easier said than done.
I'd
Sometimes.
say what I am jealous with you, where you
neighbors.
live, Duke. I've seen where you live on.
I get to
Google
shoot
Maps.
at things and not have people bother me.
You just live like you can just build a hut. I'll be like, bro, let's just build this huge hut. You got so much land, all right, and you could just like.
But see, I'm the wrong. But that's all the Duchess. Like I couldn't give less of a shit about having land.
I don't want
to build anything.
Yeah, but I could be like, I can just have a snooker room. Yeah, I can just build a snooker room.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could just build. You could build a snooker hall where you live.
I
There's
could
so
build a
much
snooker
land.
hall. Yeah, it's true.
So much. You wouldn't get a lot of business
True.
where you are, but you
Well,
could do it.
no. I could do it.
You
I
could
thought
do
about
it.
getting a ping pong table.
Yeah.
And it's like, who's gonna come out and play ping pong? No one. That's who.
Me.
We had friends over yesterday, and it was like, I mean, it was cool. I
Wanna
just don't
play
know that
ping
ping pong
pong?
would have been a thing. Yeah.
Get a pool table. People like playing pool.
So much work and expense. And,
God.
I can play virtual pool on the video game.
Wasted.
Yep. Totally wasted. All right. Is that it? Or we got shout outs?
Sure.
Thank you, Saint Diesel. We appreciate the speak pipe. And thank you to Tainted Brain for the sound clip, sort of speak pipe-ish.
I enjoy your sound clips because you can tell he's in Japan.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Yes, you can. People coming out of Pachinko Parlor.
Yeah.
It's time for a shout out. Hey!
I still have this on my phone about the shout out from last week to Tainted Brain for the BBC Sound Library. So thank you. Appreciate that. And I'll shout out the people in the chat, the YouTube chat, James Bevan, Red Van Man, Jason, Soul Brother #1. Thank you all for dropping by. If you haven't been to the YouTube chat during the show, you got to come by and check it out. It's so lively and fun. Red Van Man's playing darts.
Yeah, I'm just
So
looking at
there's
what
that.
Red Van. Why is he? I nearly hit the wall laughing at Chinny at his readiness.
And his readiness.
Oh, I see.
Because that's when you were stalling.
Stalling.
Because you didn't put up the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple 20. I have to shout out.
Who?
I have to shout out Rosa. Rosa. Little Rosa, my little baby.
Rosa.
I've got some. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, my little baby, my tiny little baby, is now 1 year old.
Yay.
So, we're
17 more and she's out the house.
We're gonna just 17 more. Oh my god. Yeah, and we're gonna be exiting the baby phase shortly when she starts walking and into the toddler
And the
phase.
terrific twos. It's going to be great.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. She's getting more and more of a personality every day. And her thing now at the moment, for people that want to know how Rosa's doing, her thing now is pointing at everything. Just da, da. Right, so she's into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so shout out to Rosa. Shout out to Wifey Tara for organising a lot of the stuff and making cakes and all sorts of stuff. So, but it all went well.
Yay!
So shout out to them.
Stu, who you shouting?
I'm going to shout out obviously Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Who obviously, thank God, sorted out all the issues that we were having.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm also going to shout out Brian, Tainted Brain, because he helped out with people struggling to get stuff to work on the podcast player of choice, which is, and I'm sure, unfortunately, we still will have people who aren't listening because they still think that we've stopped doing it or that it just.
Well, yeah, we don't know which feeds haven't been updated. So if you're
No, we
hearing
don't.
this,
Well, they
and for
can't
some
hear it,
reason you
can
haven't
they?
let us know, well, maybe they'll hear it on a friend's car radio. Or something. Maybe they'll be walking by someone's house and they'll hear out the window.
Well,
Like, wait a minute, there's a new veteran gamers.
I've put information and announcements out everywhere. So I've done Facebook,
Yeah.
I've done X / Twitter, I've done Discord, I've done anywhere I can
Instagram,
think.
TikTok.
No, I haven't done any of that stuff.
Chinny?
Chinny can do that shit.
Sure.
Put something on TikTok.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
But for some reason, some players update automatically, some players don't. So
Yeah.
Podcast Addict
Refresh your shit, people.
didn't. You had to paste the new feed into the show information page. But it's a shame. It's a shame. All this shit
is a
that's
shame.
happened because of Podbean being dicks.
Yeah.
And not accepting that is something they've done. I can't understand how else it's happened, but anyway.
I would love to know the answer to the mystery because it's just so weird. And it's just so out of nowhere. Like I don't believe you did anything. When I said maybe
Well, you
there
asked
was an
me,
accident-
even though I
No,
told
I
you
know,
I couldn't
but that
have
was
done
just
it.
me trying to close doors. You know what I mean? Like when we're trying to problem solve and troubleshoot, it's always like, okay, what's the possibility? Like, but I don't believe that's what happened. So I'm just trying to wrap my brain. I want to know the answer. You know what I mean? I'm glad we mostly got it sorted, but more than anything, I just want to know. It's like George
Well-
Carlin said, some things you lose, I don't give a fuck if I ever get them back. I just want to know where the fuck they went.
But we're never going to find out because Bert replied with "fuck you."
Maybe not that path, but we can contact someone who used to work at Podbean and they're going to spill the beans for us.
Who knows? I get that. Spill the beans on Podbean. I see.
Podbean, spill the pod beans. Yes.
Spill the
All right. Are we done?
We're done.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
All right, show's over. No refunds. You heard the robot. Get out.
The best kind of correct.
I got humped by Jason for nothing.
Shout outs also to Jason and Saint Diesel and for sending in email and SpeakPipe respectively.
I'm looking here. So apparently, Spotify will host your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
They
that
host
might be
my
something-
audiobook.
That might be something to think
Rufus
about.
X is on Spotify. Go check it out if you haven't listened to it or read it.
Well,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got to go interview the Duchess.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, you go and do that.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your week.
We will.
And I'll talk to you again in a week.
We will.